Hi, I'm Ellie, and I have alopecia, a rare condition that stops my hair from growing. That's right, I'm completely bald. Before you start feeling sorry for me, I'll have you know I think it kinda makes me look cool. However, my mom didn't seem to think so. And ever since we found out I had it, she fussed over me while completely ignoring my twin sister, Tessa. This, of course, made Tessa hate me, and she made it her mission to make my life difficult. Like this one morning, I was asleep when I was jolted awake by freezing water on my face. What the heck, Tessa? The water's freezing! Ellie, why are you screaming? Are you feeling okay? I'm fine, Mom. Tessa, did you just pour water on Ellie? Why would you do that? Especially in her condition! You sent me to wake her up, so I did. For goodness sake, Mom! It's just water. Ellie is just bald and not a fragile egg. Tessa was annoying, but she was right. Mom treated me like I was going to break any minute. She was always buying oils and products she thought would heal me. Ellie, honey, I met this woman at work who recommended some special oil that helps hair grow within a week. I'm so excited for you to try it. Thanks for trying to help, Mom, but I don't need to be fixed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm late for school. Less than an hour later, I walked into class, busy checking my phone, when I stumbled on a desk and fell right next to Tessa and her mean girl squad. You're so clumsy. It's hard to imagine that you and I are related. Totally. You are so much prettier, Tessa. Caleb should be dating you, not Ellie. Caleb was my swoon-worthy boyfriend, and all the popular girls hated that he was dating me. You'd totally win prom king and queen. I stood up and faced Tessa and her two attack dogs. You know, Jen, you might want to fix your crooked eyebrows and eyeliner, because you look like you're going for that given up on life look. Who did your makeup? A clown? The whole class laughed as my best friend, Hannah, stood up from her seat and high-fived me. Hannah was the school rich kid, but she was just as unpopular as I was. Ooh, burn! You know they'll probably make you pay for that. As Hannah and I laughed, my phone pinged with a notification and I quickly checked it. Jeez, is your phone on fire? Caleb has been ignoring my texts for 3 days. Thought that was him. What a jerk! Are you sure he's not doing something behind your back? What? No way! Caleb would never hurt me. Even though I said that confidently, I couldn't help but worry. So after last period, I went looking for him. And I found him watching Tessa strike poses on top of a pyramid formed by her cheerleader friends. Suddenly, one of the girls' knees buckled, and when she went down, all of them collapsed like dominoes. But at the last second, Caleb jumped in and caught Tessa before she hit the ground. I was glad she wasn't hurt, but I had to clear my throat when they stared at each other a little too long. That was impressive.
Oh, hey, Ellie. Something wrong? Do I stink?
Why have you been ignoring my texts? I texted you more than 5 times. Gee, he's clingy much. Caleb and Tessa's friends laughed, and I stared at Caleb, thinking he'd come to my defense, but he stayed quiet. You're such a jerk, Caleb. Come on, Ellie, forget him. Let's go. After we left the field, we got into Anna's car, and she drove us home. I couldn't help but notice how angry she looked. Anne, I know you care about me, but maybe you're overreacting. Are you kidding me? Caleb is ignoring you, and then you find him watching Tessa with a dreamy look on his face just before he saves her like a knight in shining armor. Also, she has long hair and you're bald. Do you mean that Caleb is playing me with Tessa because I'm bald? I couldn't believe my best friend would imply such a horrible thing. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean... I'm just upset that you can't see what's happening right under your nose. You need to break up with him. Oh, calm down. What's with you today? Don't say I didn't warn you. A few days later, we were all watching TV when the doorbell rang, and I opened the door to find Caleb holding a bouquet of flowers and my favorite ice cream.
Delivery for Ellie Davis from her adoring boyfriend.
Thanks, but no. I'm still mad at you.
I know, babe. I'm so sorry. I ignored your texts. Please let me make it up to you.
I'd been giving Caleb the silent treatment at school, but I hadn't broken up with him like Hannah suggested. Honey, that's so cute! And those are such pretty roses. Forgive the poor boy.
Babe, please listen to the wise lady and let me come in so we can share this ice cream.
Oh, he's such a charmer. Fine. You're forgiven. You can come in.
Really? Yay!
Caleb was so happy he picked me up and spun me around. I was so smitten at that moment. But Tessa had a murderous look on her face. A few minutes later, I was enjoying the ice cream when I noticed that Caleb was typing furiously on his phone. Is everything okay? You're texting at 100 miles a minute.
Everything is fine. It's...
Before he could finish talking, his phone beeped, and when he checked it, he stood up so fast.
I'll be right back.
A few minutes later, I heard shouting, and when I looked out my window, I saw Caleb in a heated argument with Tessa. Caleb, if you don't tell Ellie the truth, I will! You know it's wrong to keep her in the dark about this!
I'm begging you, Tessa. Please don't tell her. We only did it one time, and it was a mistake. Ellie can't find out.
The moment Caleb said that, I saw red and ran to go confront them. When I stormed out the front door, Caleb and Tessa jumped apart. I heard everything you both said. I can't believe you could betray me like that. Ellie, I was going to tell you. Tell me what? That you're so jealous of me? I'm not. You got this all wrong. I know what I heard.
Babe, please forgive me. I promise. It won't happen again.
When Caleb tried to touch my arm, I shoved him, then picked up a rock and smashed his car windshield.
Oh my God! Are you insane? You just broke my windshield.
And you just broke my heart! With that, I ran across the street and took a shortcut to Hannah's house. I really needed to see my best friend. As I ran through the woods, I stopped to catch my breath when something cold touched my feet. I looked down to see some kind of scaly creature climbing my ankle. Ah! What is that? Just then, Trent, Hannah's stepbrother, appeared and started to laugh at me.
You're such a scaredy cat. That's just my pet lizard.
Trent always kept to himself and was branded the school weirdo. Even though I'd caught him staring at me a couple of times, he'd never said a single word to me. Until now.
Come on, you can touch her. She won't bite.
No thanks, I'm good. What are you doing out in the woods anyway?
Isn't it obvious? I'm walking my pet lizard.
Wow! Can't say I've heard that one before.
Glad I could make you laugh. You look kind of sad. What are you doing in the woods yourself?
Well, I'm taking a breather from my toxic twin sister. Is Hannah home?
Yeah, she's in the backyard playing Project Runway.
Okay, thanks for cheering me up. See you later, alligator.
It's a lizard!
When I got to Hannah's, I climbed the fence and I fell into her backyard, scaring Hannah, who was wearing heels? Jeez, Ellie, you scared me! Why can't you use the gate like a normal person? Your gate is always locked, and I don't have my phone with me. Why are you wearing heels? Oh, it's nothing. Ellie, why are you here? Ouch! I'm sorry, that was rude. I couldn't wait anymore, so I told Hannah everything. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. It's okay. I'm so glad you're done with him. The next morning, I walked into class, and Trent's face lit up.
Hey, scaredy cat.
When he spoke to me, everyone stared at him. Trent had never said a word in class before, and now there he was, smiling and waiting for me to answer him. Hey Trent, where's your pet?
His name is Blizzard. And no, I don't have him with me. He hates school, unlike you.
You named your pet lizard Blizzard? Hells! Since when do you talk to my weirdo stepbrother? Don't call him that. He's your brother. Ugh, don't remind me. You're being really mean, and that's unlike you. Please apologize to him. Ugh. Okay, Saint Ellie. As the days passed, Trent and I started to hang out at the spot where we met in the woods, and soon we started calling it our spot. Cute, I know. One afternoon, we just sat when we heard giggling nearby. Who was that? Nobody ever comes here.
I'll go check.
I'm going with you. I was walking behind Trent when he stopped in his tracks, turned around, and took my hand.
Ellie, I'm so sorry for what you're about to see.
See what?
Them.
I followed Trent's gaze, and I froze. Right in front of me was Hannah and Caleb, kissing. I couldn't believe my eyes. Before Trent could stop me, I rushed towards them with blind rage. What the heck, Hannah? It's been you this whole time? I expected Hannah to be shocked or sorry, but instead, she turned to me and smiled. Yeah, Ellie. It was fun watching you blame Tessa. You're so clueless half the time. Caleb and I have been together for months now. So, all those times you advised me to leave Caleb, you were secretly pining after him? Who's pining? I only had to look at him once and he was mine. I didn't recognize the girl standing in front of me. Why did you do all of this? For popularity, of course. Bagging Caleb will definitely make me new friends. Plus, being your friend was kind of exhausting. Hi, I'm Ellie and I'm bald and I'm smart and my boyfriend adores me. I charged at her, but Trent held me back.
Hey, she's not worth it. I'm sorry, Ellie.
As I watched the two Judases leave, I remembered. Tessa! Oh my god, I've been accusing her wrongly this whole time! I have to go talk to her. A few minutes later, Trent and I walked into our compound and heard someone singing beautifully.
Wow, that's beautiful. Where's it coming from?
I looked around and pointed to an old treehouse in our backyard. Up there. Come on, let's go see. We climbed up the ladder into the treehouse, and when we peeped, I was surprised to see Tessa recording herself singing. Tessa? Oh, I had no idea you could sing so well. It's so beautiful. Ellie, what are you doing here? I was so nervous. What if she never forgave me? I came to apologize. I just saw Caleb and Hannah kissing. I'm really sorry for the things I said. Ellie, you really hurt me. How could you believe I'd do such horrible things? I thought you hated me. You've barely said a word to me for years, unless we're fighting. It wasn't that hard to believe that, especially after I overheard your argument. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. That argument was not about Caleb and me. It was about him and Hannah. A few days ago, I caught them kissing in the library. Oh my god! I'm sorry they did that to you, but you're not so perfect either. Now, if you'll excuse me. With that, Tessa put on her earphones and completely ignored me. So Trent and I left. The next morning, I walked into class to see Caleb and Hannah holding hands. Not only was Hannah wearing makeup, she was dressed differently too, and in heels. So that's why she was practicing walking in them in her backyard. Hannah? With Caleb? Isn't she friends with Ellie the Baldy? Yeah. Did you notice she turned into a diva overnight? She certainly doesn't look nerdy now. You look so good, Hannah. Congrats on bagging Caleb. I'm so happy for you. You're so fake, Jen. Isn't it just last week that I saw you in Caleb's DM? As days went by, Tessa ignored my existence, while I ignored my backstabbing best friend and my two-timing boyfriend. In class, I moved seats and sat next to Trent. Hannah became Jen's BFF until one afternoon. Trent and I were goofing around during lunch, a few tables from us. Hannah and Caleb, or Haleb as everyone called them now, seemed to be in deep conversation when suddenly Hannah stood up and slapped Caleb right on his face. Then she dumped her lunch tray on him.
Yo, check it out. Caleb fight.
You're such a jerk!
I can't help how I feel about her. Being with you was a mistake. Uh-oh, is he talking about you?
Before I could even think about what Caleb had said, Jen walked towards them and shoved Hannah. Don't be so desperate, Hannah. Caleb just left you for me. Now scram! My jaw dropped when Jen sat on Caleb's lap and proceeded to kiss him.
Oh my god.
The whole cafeteria went quiet as we all stared at the drama unfolding before us. Unable to take the humiliation, Hannah ran out in tears.
I guess it's true what they say. Karma is not a lady.
Weeks later, much to my delight, I was voted Student of the Year.
And the Student of the Year award goes to Ellie Davis.
As I went to receive my award, I smiled at Trent and hugged my mom. It would have been a perfect moment, except Tessa wasn't there. Over the last few weeks, I'd apologized to her over and over, but she was still angry.
Congratulations on the award, Ellie.
Thanks, Mrs. Peters. As I walked down from the podium, I got the shock of my life when Tessa walked in and everyone gasped. I couldn't believe it. She was completely bald. Tessa, what did you do?
I was tired of people being mean to you, especially after what Caleb did. Now they'll have to pick on both of us. I dare anyone to try us.
Aw, Tessa, I love you for doing this. I thought you hated me.
I don't hate you, Ellie. I'm jealous Mom likes you better.
Because you're smart and she fusses over you. Tess, I'm sorry for not believing you, and for being a bad sister who doesn't even know that you can sing. I'll try to do better. While Tessa and I hugged, Mom approached us. Tessa, dear, it's so sweet of you to shave your hair to support your sister. You both look beautiful, and I love you both equally. Tessa, I heard you singing in the treehouse, and you have a very beautiful voice. If you want to, you can go to music school on the weekends.
Wow, thanks so much, Mom.
As the three of us hugged, Trent approached us.
Oh, this is so sweet. Someone cutting onions in here.
Shut up, Trent. Can't you see we're having a moment?
I bet I could break an egg on your heads.
Welcome to my world, sis. And you get a pass for that jab just because you're cute. But if you try another one, I'll kick your butt.
You think I'm cute?
Aww, Ellie and Trent sitting in a tree. Kissing.
I was so embarrassed, but I couldn't keep the smile off my face.
Hey, I think you're cute too.
Growing up, my dad and I used to spend hours listening to his old records, and sometimes he used to teach me how to play his old guitar.
You see, honey, it's not that hard.
Yeah, but you're playing for me, Dad.
One day, honey, you are going to be a famous musician, like I could never be.
Oh, Dad!
What's wrong?
I had a sharp pain in my ear, and Dad rushed me to the doctor, and after that day, I lost my hearing. I could no longer hear the sound of music again. After some time, my parents made sure that I went to the best school to help me understand sign language and lip read. Mariah, we are so proud of you for staying strong. Not many people have your strength.
Yes, you are one amazing girl. You inspire me.
I realized that there were a lot of people like me who also had a hearing condition, and they lived normal lives too. But my sister Jasmine, who was 2 years older than me, started acting different.
Maybe I should find another home, since everything in this house is all about Mariah.
Once, when I was in 7th grade, I had a talent show for all the parents to attend my school. But Jasmine threw a huge tantrum because she had her tennis game on the same day.
Okay, I'll go to Mariah's school, and Dad will come watch you, Jasmine.
You never show up for any of mine, Mom.
Okay, and I'll come for your tennis game, and Dad can go watch Mariah.
That's the thing! Both of you are always watching Mariah!
And then she took my guitar for the talent show and broke it in half. And I got so mad at her that I pounced on her. And then Dad pulled me away and said the most awful thing ever.
It's better that she got that thing broken now, because you are never going to become a musician. So let's forget about that dream, okay?
Dad, what are you saying?
A musician is made by listening and—
Stop! Mariah, let's go for a walk.
I looked at Dad sternly as I walked out, and my relationship with him changed ever since. And then one morning, as I made my way downstairs, I saw Dad had taken our record collection and gotten rid of all the songs we used to sing together.
Honey, don't you think this is a little extreme?
There's no point in training her to be a musician if she can't hear the notes.
But Dad, I can learn. I can find a way to listen.
Look, it's not your fault, honey, but things are going to be different from now on.
It didn't take long for my sister to jump in and try to take my place.
Dad, I love music too. Yeah, right. You hate all of our music. I can be a better musician than you, and I'm prettier than her, Dad.
You girls go to your room right now!
For the next few months, Jasmine was a royal pain. Jasmine took every chance she could to rub it in my face that she was Dad's new favorite. The worst part is she would take my hearing aid and hide it, making me late for everything. One day, I couldn't take it anymore. I marched over to Jasmine at recess. "Give me back my hearing aid, you spoiled brat!"
I didn't hear you say please.
Jasmine thought she was so funny, but this time, I wasn't going to take it.
Hey, get off me! Somebody help!
I had gotten my hearing aid back, but soon I was surrounded by all the adults at the park.
Let her go! What a wild child!
Without my hearing aid, I couldn't understand what they were saying to me. I thought for sure I was going to be in big trouble until I felt a tap on my shoulder. I had never seen this boy before, but he was really handsome. And most importantly, he knew sign language!
Are you okay? I saw everything. I'm Ethan. I just moved from Oklahoma. I believe this is yours.
I could tell Ethan was the perfect gentleman when he put my hearing aid back in for me. I had butterflies when his hand brushed against my ear.
There you go. That should be better.
Thank you for helping me. My sister can be a real jerk.
I have one of those at home, too. Looks like we have a few things in common.
Soon, I found out he and I had more than a few things in common when I went to his house the next day. It turns out Ethan's mom and dad were both hearing impaired just like me. Ethan learned sign language to help them out. It was so sweet. When I got to his room, I found out we had another thing in common. Ethan loved music just as much as I did. His room looked like a record store. He had every album I had ever thought of, even some of the ones Dad and I used to listen to. You like music too?
I love to make music, but my sister doesn't like me working on my own stuff.
I used to love music, but it caused me a lot of problems with my family too.
Here, let me show you something.
I shouldn't have been surprised, but Ethan was really good. I thought we were listening to some famous musician on Spotify, but all the songs were made by him. He could be famous. I had to ask him why his sister didn't allow him to pursue his passion.
My sister is a TikTok star, and my job is to make music for her videos. My whole family are her employees.
You're too talented to make music for some stupid TikTok video, Ethan. Then all of a sudden, Ethan freaked out.
Oh no, she's already home. She's not going to like that you're here. You should go.
I was confused because I had already met his parents. What could make Ethan so anxious? It didn't take me long to find out why.
Hey, Anna. This is Mariah.
Oh, good. Finally, they've hired another maid. Listen, I need you to run me a hot bath and have a hot cocoa ready after. Also, I need a facial mask.
But your skin is so dry. I think a facial mask might be a waste of money.
How dare you talk to me like that?
I was going to speak to you like a person, but I don't know if you qualify.
Dad! I want her fired!
I'm not for hire. I'm in school.
Well, you better not go to the same school I'm enrolled in, because I'm going to be the queen of that school, and I can make your life miserable.
Whatever. Thank you for having me over. Your parents were lovely. I made sure Anna knew that if she wanted a fight, I was gonna give her a good one. The only thing I didn't suspect is that Anna would play so dirty. When I arrived at school the next morning, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw Anna sitting with Jasmine. I marched up to them to find out what was going on. As much as my sister was a brat, I wanted to see why she was sitting with this little devil.
Oh, wow! Look what the cat dragged in.
What are you doing sitting over here, Jasmine? And where did you get these clothes?
Chill! Will you stop embarrassing me? My new friends bought them for me. New friends? That's right! Her cool new friends. I told you that I was way cooler than anyone in this poor town. Your sister knows this. My first day, and I already have more friends than you've had in your whole life.
I don't care about these hanger-ons. I just want you to stay away from my sister.
I know that you probably don't have an iPhone, but you should know that I'm one of the biggest teenage TikTok stars in the country. Anything I want, I can get, including your sister.
I was so angry that I wanted to hop across the lunch table and give Anna a face full of jello. Jasmine, these girls are no good, and Mom and Dad wouldn't want you hanging out with her.
Oh my goodness, Mariah, you're so embarrassing! Anna is the only one who understands me. She knows what it's like living with people who aren't normal.
My parents had never taught us to even think like that, so I knew my sister was under the worst type of influence. If I were you, I would leave my sister alone.
I think I'm gonna make her my special pet project. Maybe she'll pass the test, or maybe not. Come on, girls, let's go.
Anna had made her choice. Now it was time to make mine. I loved spending time with Ethan, but I had another mission in mind. Hey, Ethan, I was wondering if you could show me how you put together the music for your sister.
Sure.
Ethan and I worked on the music for hours, but when Ethan went to the bathroom, I made a few changes to Anna's music. I knew my plan worked when my sister came into my room the next morning screaming.
Oh my goodness! Anna's video has been sabotaged! Oh yeah? I wonder who could have done that. You had better not have messed up her new video, Mariah! When I tell her you're going to be in bigger trouble than that loser brother!
What happened to Ethan? I found out that Anna had thrown all of Ethan's equipment away. And worse than that, she was going to make the whole family move as punishment. My revenge had taken away everything that Ethan loved. The next day, when I went to Ethan's house, I found him standing in the yard with all his broken equipment while Anna was lecturing him, and Jasmine was there with her.
And I hope this is a lesson to you all, not to mess with me. Who do you think you are? I'm going to be the queen of this town. Now bend your knee to me, and maybe I'll spare your little friend's last record.
I knew I was in way over my head, but before I knew what happened, I blurted it out.
We should have a competition. The loser has to shave their head. You couldn't beat Anna at anything. I can and I will. You can even pick the competition. Fine. I'll choose music. Good luck trying to keep up to me with your disability.
The truth was, I hadn't listened to music in years, but I couldn't stand this new girl coming in and trying to ruin my life. That evening, I begged my parents to let Ethan stay at my house, but Jasmine threw a tantrum about this too.
I don't want them staying in our house. Come on, Dad. You know they are going to lose the talent show and we're going to be embarrassed again.
Honey, your sister is right. You can't carry any notes.
Yes, I can, Dad. And I'll find a way to make music just as good as anyone else.
Fine. You can use the backyard.
With all of Ethan's equipment destroyed, we had nothing to make any music for the talent show.
We should give up. There's no way we can beat Anna in a music contest. She's been training since she was a baby.
We have passion on our side.
But even at my house, we weren't safe, as Jasmine was spying on us. And much worse, she turned the sprinklers on, getting all of our work soaking wet. When the next morning came, Ethan and I were ready to give up. I had made such a stupid bet, and now everyone's life was going to be turned upside down because of me.
Come on, let's get the ones we can say.
But when I reached down to pick up the equipment, something crazy happened.
Wow, did you hear that?
Whatever sound I had just made sounded like something from another world.
I think it's your hearing aid, Mariah.
That sounds so cool.
Wait a second. I think I just might be able to use this.
When Ethan was done, we had a cool electronic song that I was sure no one had heard before. Even better was the fact Ethan and I got much closer. We even played the song for my mom.
You guys are going to win the talent show for sure.
Thanks for always believing in me, Mom.
Please, this isn't real music. Real music involves instruments and notes.
What I didn't see was my sister Jasmine at the top of the stairs recording our music. Anna hired a full band to back up her singing, and here I was with my mud-covered laptop. Before the show, Ethan came up to me and gave me all the confidence I needed.
You are one of the most talented people I have ever met. Thank you for standing up for me and believing in me. I know you can do this.
Do you really think your silly little hearing aid sounds are going to win this competition? Your sister let me hear everything. My band is the best money can buy. And you think you can beat me?
I know I can.
Do you think you can do it without your secret weapon?
One of Anna's friends used a magnet to snatch away my hearing aid. I felt like I was in the park all those years ago, but then I looked at Ethan and he sent me a sign. Knowing that Ethan and my mom were behind me was all I needed. I couldn't hear anything as the crowd began to clap when the show started. The only thing I knew is that they were loving Anna's performance. She was such a jerk, but when she finished, the entire auditorium were on their feet. I was so nervous, but I looked to my right and saw Ethan. And then I saw my mom in the crowd with a sign that said, "Go Mariah." I took a deep breath and put my hand on the soundboard, and when I hit the first button, something crazy happened. I could feel the vibration going through my arm. It was almost like I could feel the music. Without my hearing aid, all my other senses were heightened. I felt like I was one with the soundboard. And before I knew it, everyone was on their feet. Anna didn't stand a chance. I won the competition easily, and Anna ran out of the building crying. I laughed. For now, I would let her think she would have to shave her head. But in reality, I wouldn't be so cruel.
I'm sorry for doubting you, honey. I just didn't want you to experience the same failure I did.
Mariah doesn't think about failure. She focuses on her goal and doesn't let obstacles get in the way. We raised her to be strong, and you forgot that.
Even Jasmine came to me to apologize.
I'm sorry for being so cruel to you. I guess you really are cooler than Anna.
There's no such thing as cool, Jasmine. I just like to do things that I enjoy. It's cool when you pursue things you love, not what other people think is cool. Just then, one of the parents came up to me.
That was one of the coolest DJ sets I've ever seen. I'd like to sign you to my record label. Do you have a manager?
In fact, I might just have my very first one right here. Hi there, I'm Bree from Texas. Growing up next to the perfect sister who always liked to be the center of attention was exhausting.
A perfect 100. We're so proud of you, Annie.
Bree, you should be more like your sister.
Annie was obviously my parents' favorite, and they just couldn't help rubbing it in my face. My sister was the polar opposite of me. She was smart, fashionable, pretty, and super mean.
Ew! Did a bird make its nest in your hair?
While I was reckless, carefree, and loved animals, I could spend hours playing with them and even brought some home sometimes. But Mom and Dad weren't great fans of my friends. At school, everyone found it hard to believe that I was Annie's sister because she was so perfect and I was, well, weird. Once, in 6th grade, I had forgotten my pet rat in my backpack, and it caused so much chaos in my class.
Oh my god! A rat came out of her bag! Sebastian, come here right now!
Take that thing out of my class!
Annie was so angry about the incident that she dragged me to a corner after class and yelled at me.
You silly oaf! It's fine if you want to embarrass yourself, but do that outside. School is my territory, and everyone knows you're my sister.
Oh, forgive me, Your Majesty. Here, take my pet rat as a peace offering. I snatched my arm from her and she walked away. Why did she always have to be so uptight? Pretty soon, Annie and I graduated high school. Annie with perfect straight A's, and me with, well, you don't want to know. To celebrate Annie's grades, my parents made a big announcement a month before Christmas.
We'll be taking a vacation trip to an island in Guatemala.
What? I don't want to go.
We can't leave you behind to play with your silly animals. You're coming with us, Bree.
Yeah, Bree, not everyone is a creep like you.
You know what an island is full of, right?
Insects and creepy crawlies.
We traveled to Guatemala and vacation on the island wasn't as bad as I thought. On the day we arrived, we all dressed up in our swimsuits to explore the sea. But when I saw Annie, I nearly tripped in shock. She looked so weird in her fur bikini, and I had to hold myself back from bursting into laughter. What's that?
It's a fur bikini made popular by Kim Kardashian herself. Get with the times, dummy.
It makes you look like a furry sea slug. You know the fish might think you're one, right? Annie's face turned red like a tomato about to burst. I snickered and pranced out of the lodge before she could say anything. An hour later, we were chilling by the shore. I was reading some silly sports magazine I had found in the lodge while Annie showed off her pathetic swimming skills to my parents. Just looking at them fawning over her made me want to puke.
I can do the backstroke too.
Suddenly, she shrieked and jumped out of the water, her entire body covered in lobsters.
Ah! Get them off me!
My parents scrambled after her while I stayed in my seat dying of laughter. She looked ridiculous.
I warned you about the fur.
Seeing me laugh made Mom furious.
Your sister's dying and you're laughing, Bree?
It's just lobsters. She'll be fine. God, they were so dramatic.
That's it. Go to your room.
Whatever. I grabbed my things and headed back to the lodge. I stayed there for a while, but I got bored, so I threw on some safari clothes and went exploring. While exploring the island, suddenly I came across a rabbit with its legs stuck in between some branches. I was about to help it when I felt something poke me in the back.
Not one step further, intruder! You're not allowed to harm the animals of this island!
It was a girl, and she sounded like she was going to attack me. The rabbit is stuck. I finally saw her face and was stunned by how pretty she was.
Like your kind is capable of being nice.
Of course I am.
Prove it!
I walked up to the rabbit and freed it, then knelt beside it and stroked its back. You're different from the other visitors we've had. Her name was Grenda, and she sounded so surprised I had helped the rabbit. We started talking. Where are you from? Texas. Where's that? I realized Grenda had no idea what the outside world was like. She'd never been outside the forest before. So you don't even know what a telescope is? How does it work? I taught her how to use the telescope. Why are your eyes so big? They're not. The telescope just makes everything bigger. What else do you see? I can see a tree. Oh, and a bird. And a snake. Wow, it's like magic. By the time we were done, it was almost dark, so I had to dash back to the lodge. But we promised to meet at the same spot the next day. After that strange encounter, Grenda and I started to hang out regularly. She didn't care one bit about my strange bond with animals, and we quickly became friends. Come, I want to show you something. Grenda grabbed my arm and dragged me to a secluded part of the island, where a magnificent, gigantic bird stood right in its middle. Wow, it's our goddess Momo, reincarnated as a bird. I circled the bird, admiring its beautiful white feathers. It was a dodo bird, which had not been seen in centuries. No one outside my tribe is allowed into this place, but I showed it to you because I trust you, Bree. I'd never betray your trust, Grenda. You know, it's so beautiful, just like you. Grenda's stare made me feel butterflies in my tummy. Her face started to come close. OMG! Was she about to kiss me? But before anything could happen, we heard some noises in the bushes and panicked.
Who's there?
There was no response. Grenda and I looked around but couldn't find anyone. We still couldn't shake the feeling that someone was there. I shouldn't have done this. You're not supposed to be here. Let's leave. We parted ways. I went back to the cabin while she returned to her home. The next day, I was getting ready to explore the other parts of the island when I noticed Grenda approaching me angrily from a distance. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. Grenda! I ran up to her, but she shoved me so hard I was surprised she wasn't secretly an MMA fighter hiding in a young girl's body.
You thief! I should have known better than to trust you!
What are you talking about?
You stole our sacred bird!
What? Grenda, no! I'd never do that! I tried to calm her, but she just ran off in a storm.
I don't ever want to see you again!
I chased after her, but holy macaroni, she was fast! After a while, I stopped to catch my breath and think. Grenda was my only friend. I couldn't lose her. I was going to prove to her I had nothing to do with her missing sacred bird. I began to search all over the island for the bird, but by evening, I couldn't find any trace of it. I returned to the cabin, disappointed, but before I could open the door, I heard Annie's voice from her room.
Ugh! Why are you so heavy?
What was she up to this time? I went to check and was surprised to find the little she-devil had the dodo bird in her room.
Look! You large, lazy monster!
I thought you were supposed to be smart, because this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Ugh, stop whining and help me get this bird under control!
Do you have any idea how much trouble you've landed us in? You stole their goddess!
Goddess? Pfft, that's dumb. This is a dodo bird, and I can't wait to show it to Mom and Dad. They'll be so proud when they found out I discovered an extinct bird.
What? It's not yours.
It's mine if I say so.
Annie and I began to fight for the bird.
Let go!
In the midst of our struggle, suddenly some people from Grenda's tribe emerged from the nearby bushes and surrounded us with sharp weapons. In the middle were Dad and Mom, bound in chains, looking so confused.
Honey, what is that thing?
That's not a thing. That's Momo, our goddess, and you will respect her.
Before I could say anything, Annie and I were put in chains and we were all dragged away like common criminals. They moved us to a side of the island I'd never explored before. It was full of huts and more people like Grenda. We were presented before a man I assumed was the king.
This must all be a mistake.
Silence. You, my gods, tell me you were one of those seen with the goddess. Speak.
I didn't waste time spilling everything. My sister, Annie, stole your bird, and I was only trying to retrieve it. But he didn't believe me.
I know better than to trust your kind.
My parents, on the other hand, were really mad at Annie.
I can't believe your greed landed us here, Annie. How could you be so foolish?
Annie couldn't even look at them.
Take them to the lava pit.
We were dragged into a cave where there was a pit of hot, steaming lava. Its heat made me feel like a raw piece of beef about to be turned into steak. One of the men began poking me with a stick, leading me to the edge of the lava pit.
Jump.
Fear gripped my legs tightly, and just when I thought there was no hope, Grenda appeared in front of me, shielding me from the man.
I won't let you touch her or her family.
You pick a bunch of intruders over your own tribe. It's either them or us.
Grenda still wouldn't budge, and that made the king angry.
Since you've chosen a side, you're all banished from this island.
Grenda accepted her fate. As soon as the islanders left, she freed us all from our chains and threw her arms around me. I'm really sorry for not believing you, Bree. It wasn't your fault. I'm sorry too. Saving us cost you your home. Not really. I want to see Texas and telescopes and eat hamburgers. Hamburgers, you mean? We returned to our cabin and prepared to leave.
How can we ever thank you?
She can come to live with us, since she was banished too.
Of course.
They sounded quite gracious. Maybe I could chip in one more. And you can also start treating me better. It's not fair how you always give Annie all the attention.
Oh, honey, we don't mean to. But maybe we have been a little negligent. We promise we'll be better.
Then they turned to Annie.
As soon as we get home, you're grounded.
That's not fair!
Serves you right. We left the island the next day, and during our flight home, Grenda couldn't stop wowing and touching everything in the plane.
Wow, it moves! Sorry. Are those hamburgers? I want them all!
When we got home, I was excited to show her around town. With my guidance, she settled well into the modern world within a few days. One day, we were taking a stroll through the park when I saw a poster. Texas presents to you the annual Christmas talent show.
You should participate.
I think you do brilliantly. I don't think so. I'm not as smart as Annie. Brenda grabbed my chin and looked deep into my eyes. She had the prettiest blue eyes I'd ever seen. They were hypnotic. Enough about Annie. You're an amazing person, and you have an amazing bond with animals. I followed her advice and entered the competition. When I told my parents about it, they were super supportive.
We'd love to watch you perform.
Ever since our vacation on the island, my parents had started to treat me much better, but in the process, they were pushing Annie to the side.
That's not fair. I have my science project that day too.
You're still grounded, Annie. No science project for you.
You know it means a lot to me.
Not one more word.
I looked at Annie, and she seemed really sad. For the first time, I felt sorry for her. I knew that project was a super big deal to her. But I had to focus on my talent show. I started practicing my routines every day with Sebastian, my pet rat. I would show Grenda my performances, and she always laughed and complimented me. You're amazing. Whenever I was near her, my skin felt like it was tingling. I had to admit, I was in love. The day of the talent show finally arrived, and I was so nervous.
You can do this, honey.
Here, drink some water. It'll help. Having the people I cared about most by my side gave me all the motivation I needed. And when my name was called, I ran to the stage and began my performance with confidence. But something happened. I started to burp really loudly. I had to stop my performance and apologize to the audience.
I'm so sorry.
I was so embarrassed I ran off the stage. Dad, Mom, and Grenda rushed towards me.
Oh my god, what happened? Someone sabotaged my performance.
On cue, something fell out of Grenda's bag. It was the bottle of water from earlier, but belch serum was written on the label instead. Did you do this? What? No. I didn't even want to listen to her. Of all people, Grenda was the last person I expected to do something like this.
We invite you to our home, and you repay us by ruining our daughter's performance? There's no way you're staying with us anymore.
Mom and Dad walked me out, leaving Grenda behind all alone. I was heartbroken. The following day was Christmas, and we were carrying out our annual family tradition of gift giving. Annie was sitting on the couch by herself, so I approached her warily. I know we've had our differences, but you deserve to show up at that science project, and I'm sorry for ruining that for you. I talked to Mom and Dad, and you're no longer grounded. Annie's eyes welled up with emotion, and to my surprise, she suddenly hugged me.
Thank you, Bree.
I smiled and hugged her back. Then she started to cry a whole waterfall of tears.
Oh, Bree, I'm so sorry about everything.
I don't understand.
I was the one who ruined your performance yesterday and framed Grenda. I was so jealous Mom and Dad were showing you lots of attention.
I couldn't believe my ears. I owed Grenda an apology. In the spirit of Christmas, I forgave Annie. It's okay. Let's be better sisters to each other from now on, okay?
I promise.
I went to find Grenda in her room. She was packing her stuff ready to leave, but I quickly stopped her. Grenda, I'm so sorry. I just found out Annie had framed you. I should have believed you. I should have been a better friend. Oh, come here. Grenda hugged me. I did the same thing with the dodo bird. Now we're even. I wish I had gotten you a present. You don't have to. You're my biggest gift this Christmas. You've always been a gift to me since the first day I met you. Suddenly, Granda pulled me to her and kissed me. This was the best Christmas ever.
Hi, I'm Ada from Nigeria. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved working on cars with Grandpa.
Want to give this one a try?
Sure. Grandpa, this is so cool. I want to build cars one day and...
Build cars? Ew, that's not a girl's job.
That was my Aunt Chi. I was raised by her alongside her own daughter June after I lost my parents.
If that is what she wants to be, then you have no right to stop her. The sky is her starting point.
I felt grateful for Grandpa. He always believed in me, unlike Aunt who always tried to make my life miserable. Like this one time my aunt's daughter June and I were playing outside. We had so much fun playing mud. But when Aunt came out, she went ballistic when she saw how messed up our clothes were.
I bet this was all Ada's idea. June, if you continue to follow this rotten girl around, your future will be nothing but a dark shadow.
But Mom, it was my idea to make sand cakes. Please don't blame Ada.
Oh, please, June. Stop making excuses for her. She has always been nothing but trouble.
Why do you not like me, Aunt? I did nothing wrong. Don't worry about my mom, Ada. I think my mom is just jealous her dad likes you more than her.
June always knew how to cheer me up and would sometimes defend me from her mom. But by the time we hit puberty, June began to change. All she could talk about all day was boys and her looks.
What do you think about my hair? And look at the lipstick my mom got me. And guess who asked me out today?
There's more to life than boys, you know.
Why do you always have to be so boring?
Thanks to her mom's influence, June was becoming increasingly mean, and I was getting the brunt of it. One day when we were 14, we were on our way to church when June suddenly let out a scream.
Ah, I forgot to put on my earrings.
I'm sure you can survive today without it.
That's why you'll never make it in life. You are fashion blind. Now go get her earrings.
But our house is so far away now, and it's raining.
I said hurry up!
Aunt Chi made me trek all the way back home in the rain for a freaking pair of earrings. I came back drenched and so had to wait outside the church till the program was over. I was so mad at her and June.
You made me walk back in the rain for this! Sorry, I just can't do without them.
June might have had the ball in the court when at home, but at school, I stayed top of my class. But June kept flunking her classes up to 12th grade because she was too pretty to read. But her mom didn't seem to mind.
My teacher said I may not graduate high school at this rate.
You don't need good grades when you're this pretty. One day, one rich dude will sweep you off your feet and you won't have to suffer.
You should be telling her to read hard so she can find a good job and be rich herself.
Oh, shut up, grease monkey.
I couldn't wait to be free of those two and their low mentality. One Saturday, I accompanied June to go do her hair, and on our way there, we saw a guy strumming along in his guitar with a money bowl that only had chewing gum in it.
Wise men say only fools rush in.
Despite his ragged dreads and outfit, I could see the guy was handsome, but I also noticed he had eyes for June. The moment we were about to pass, he jumped before us and continued singing.
But I can't help falling in love with you. Hi, beautiful. Are you an electrician? Because you definitely lit up my day now.
Are you blind? You see a hot bod like this, and you assume I am an electrician? It means he likes you.
Yeah, seriously, you're like an angel. Can I just have your number?
He gave her a piece of paper with a pen. June took the paper and spat on it, then gave it back to him. You're cute, but that's what I think of broke guys like you. Find a girl your class. That's rude. June walked away without an apology, and I felt so bad for the guy. Look, nice song there. I don't have money now, but maybe I can treat you to lunch tomorrow to apologize on my sister's behalf. I gave him my grandpa's business card.
Thanks.
I didn't expect he would take me up on my offer, but the next day, Grandpa and I were working on a truck when we started hearing someone playing on a guitar. It was the guitar guy from yesterday.
Hey, remember me?
Of course I remember you. A little. I realized then that I was covered in grease and wanted to disappear. I don't always look this dirty.
We have a saying that dirty-looking people are the richest. So what I am seeing on you is money, not dirt.
What?
I'm Austin.
Austin was all shades of sweet, and soon him coming over to the garage became a custom. He would keep me company with some jokes, music, or juicy gossip. Although I loved his melodious voice, sometimes I tried to persuade him to make better use of his time here, but he wouldn't listen.
No. Working with my hands is not my calling. Only singing.
So you want to be a singer?
Yup. And when I make it as a big star, I'm gonna credit my first music to you.
Though he talked a lot, he hardly said anything about his family, but I soon found out why. A few days to Christmas, we hung out at a lake resort. So, what are your plans for Christmas?
Christmas is for people who have family.
Wait, Austin, you don't have a family? Where do you live?
Nope, no family, and I live there.
Austin pointed at the city's bridge that was a bit in the distance and smiled sadly.
That's my home, Ada, under that bridge.
My heart broke for him that day, and I invited him over to Aunt's place for Christmas dinner. It was the only time she was at her nicest, but I made the big mistake of forgetting to tell her beforehand. Christmas came, and just as we had settled down for dinner, Austin arrived. Aunt Chi, I'm so sorry that I forgot to tell you that I invited my friend. Please meet Austin. This penniless wannabe musician is your friend? June, be nice. Austin doesn't have a family to celebrate Christmas with.
Is that so? Oh, Austin, come in and sit.
I sighed in relief at Aunt's friendly tone, but tensed again when I saw her pass a knowing look at June.
Thank you for having me.
What will you have, dear? There's fried rice, chicken, meat pie, and juice.
Anything, really.
To my horror, she picked up a plate with a dishing spoon and began to scoop nothing into the plate while June giggled like a maniac.
That's fried rice, chicken, meat pie, and orange juice. Enjoy.
I felt myself boil in anger. You can have mine.
No thanks.
Austin insisted that he go home, and when he left, I went off at Aunt and June. This is just too much. Are poor people worms to you? You don't respect even your own dad.
Don't yell at me, you ungrateful worm. You have some guts bringing in that stinky brat here.
I didn't see Austin again for about 3 days, but when I did, I was surprised to see him all smiles. Austin, what's going on?
I won a local music competition. A foreign music agency wants me over in the US to sign me up. I will be leaving early next year.
You're going to the USA?
I told you I was gonna make it big.
He was so excited, and I was happy for him, but I was going to miss him. On New Year's Eve, we met again at the bridge for the last time before he traveled, and somehow the atmosphere was just thick. I'll miss you, Austin. He looked at me and our faces grew closer together, and just as the fireworks ensuing the new year went off, Austin gave me a light kiss. It was like fireworks went off in my heart.
Then wait for me. I'll come back.
I did wait, but I made sure to keep busy. With my savings and Grandpa's support, I pursued my dream course, automotive technology, in a university, while June became a model. 3 years passed and I began to lose hope of ever seeing Austin again. But one day while I was home trying to complete a project, June suddenly let out a scream. I rushed out to see her. June, what's going on? Look who's on the television! It was Austin on TV being interviewed. He was now a big star and was coming back to Nigeria for a concert. Mom, I have to go to that concert. He's rich now. I have to see him.
Yes, you'll go, June. Use your charm. Beg his forgiveness.
Seriously? Because he's popular now? That's the same guy you humiliated 4 years ago. It made me so mad to have to go to the concert with June, but I had to see Austin. The concert hall was packed with people, and then Austin appeared on stage. Oh my God! Is that him? He looks like a demigod! He really did. I had to stop myself from drooling the way June was. His singing threw the crowd in a frenzy, and when he finished, I snuck backstage so I could see him. I found a door wide open, and when I looked in, Austin was in the room, but so was June, and she was all over him. I realized I was so wrong, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
You're the one who took my breath away the very first time I saw you. Of course I forgive you.
What's going on here?
Oh, Mary, right?
Wait, you don't know my name again? You told me to wait for you after you kissed me.
Oh, did I? Well, that kiss was a spur-of-the-moment action, you know. June and I make a better couple. She's a model, and I'm a singer. You're just a mechanic. Nah, won't work.
Ew, I'm grossed out just thinking about it. Wait, do you even remember how she treated you?
Because I was poor, but now I am rich and can get anything I want, including her. See?
Angry tears filled my eyes, but I forced them back because Austin didn't deserve them. The insensitive moron went ahead to try and kiss June in my presence, so I took off my shoes to throw at his head, but they hit June instead. Ouch! My head! It hurts! I guess the shoe decided you deserved it more. Austin had his security kick me out, and when June later came home, she told Aunt I had attacked her, and Aunt threw out my things.
We can't accommodate an enemy of progress like you in our house.
Well, I can't stand to live with shallow people like you anymore. And good luck with Austin. You're two stupid people that deserve each other. I moved into Grandpa's garage, and he welcomed me warmly.
Stay as long as you'd like. Honestly, I am impressed you tolerated your Aunt Chi this long. She's my daughter, but I can't stand her.
Austin and June's betrayal still hurt, but I pushed on. And one day, my life completely changed. I was returning from the grocery store one day when I saw a brand new Chevrolet parked on the roadside with several mechanics all over it. Hey, what's going on here?
The owner got it from her husband, took it for a drive today, and it just broke down. No one has been able to fix it, and she doesn't trust any mechanic to take it to his workshop.
I approached one of the mechanics, and when I told him I would love to take a look at the car,
You? Come, guys, back off. This little girl says she could fix what 5 men can't.
all eyes were on me as I popped the hood. It was the longest 20 minutes of my life, but I soon found the fault and the car roared with life. The men were gaping when I came out of the car, and a reporter rushed towards me.
Hello, ma'am. Please tell us your name and how you managed to fix this car these men had been working on for hours.
I have lifelong experience fixing cars. If you want to know more, you can visit my garage. I gave the reporter my card and ran away from all the curious eyes. The next morning, our garage was swamped with drivers wanting their cars serviced. The video of me fixing the car had gone viral, and almost everyone wanted me to become their car mechanic. In just a few days, I got enough money to expand Grandpa's garage, hire some workers, and buy a cozy house for him and I nearby.
I'm going to leave this world as a happy old man.
Leave this world to where? You're stuck with me, old man. After my graduation and National Youth Service, and I got multiple offers to manage different automobile companies. Life was good, and so busy I almost forgot the people from my past. But one day, I had a rude reminder. I went to a restaurant when I noticed the couple across about to be arrested by security.
We will pay the bill later, my idiot husband.
Your idiot husband? You wasted all my money!
I felt pity for them. How much is their bill? I will pay.
Hey, thank this lady over here. She just paid for your bill.
The couple turned to look at me, and my world froze. It was Austin and June. The sight of them brought back bitter memories, so I stood up to go. I had just reached my car when I heard Austin behind me.
Ada!
What is it?
Wow, you look different, in a good way.
You look different too, but not in a good way. He was so thin and harrowed.
It's all your cousin's fault. She ate all my money and reverted to a nagging crone. Please forgive me. If I leave June, would you marry me?
I saw red. I popped open the bottle of water I had taken from my table and threw it on him. Shame on you, Austin. June is pregnant, for goodness sake. You know what? I should be thankful to her. She saved me from being with a rotten, selfish jerk. I'll not be anybody's second choice, and I won't take leftovers either. I got into my car and drove off, my heart aching for my cousin and the horrible man she had married. Girls, we don't need some prince to rescue us or some rich man to free us from hardship. Work hard, be focused, and you'll see, you'll be your own hero.
In this corner, we have Ava, the Destroyer!
The crowd went wild. This was just a simple boxing fight, the first stage of the tournament that I hoped to win. A lot of people had their bets on my victory.
And Ava's opponent, the strong, the almighty, Abigail the Wrecker!
Again, the crowd went wild. I watched as my opponent entered the ring, but when I saw her face, my blood stopped moving. It was my sister, Abigail, except my sister had been missing for 10 years. Hi guys, my name's Ava and I'm from Texas. Make sure you like and subscribe. My sister Abigail and I were twins, and we were the bestest friends ever. We did everything together. One time we even broke our left arm together at the same time when we fell off a trampoline.
Ow! Wow, this is so cool. We're broken arm twins.
I loved Abigail so much. She was my other half. But then one day, our lives were ruined. Our parents took us out on a camping trip. But when we woke up the next morning, Abigail was missing. We searched for days and days, but there was no sign of her. After several years had passed, we started to believe we'd never see her again. And yet, here I was standing in a boxing ring across from my opponent, my long-lost sister. Abigail, is that really you?
Yeah? What do you want?
Did she not recognize me? I turned to my parents who were watching in the crowd, and I could see their shocked faces. The bell rang, signaling the beginning of the match.
Abigail, where have you been all these...
Black filled my vision and I lost consciousness. When I came to, the crowd was going crazy as my sister celebrated her victory.
What a twist, folks. Ava the Destroyer, the most anticipated winner of this tournament, is out in the first round.
I struggled to get up. My head hurt. But then I spotted my sister again, and my heart leaped.
Abigail!
I ran towards her and hugged her.
Ah, get off me! What's wrong with you?
Abigail, I've missed you so much!
What? I don't know you. Security!
Suddenly, security appeared and ripped me off Abigail.
Wait, Abigail, sweetie, don't you remember us? Why should I?
We were left speechless. My sister comes back after years, but she doesn't even know who we are? How could this be? After the boxing match, we tried to find her again to talk to her, but she seemed to have disappeared. We tried to get into contact with her manager, but the lines were dead.
What do we do?
We can't lose her again. Not like this.
I'm gonna hire a private investigator. We'll find her again. Don't worry. I searched for local private investigators online, and one popped up. His name was Jaya Webner. He claimed to have 100% success rate. You're my guy. The next day, I arrived at his office.
Excuse me, miss, do you have an appointment?
I can't wait. This is an emergency.
No, wait,
I opened the door and immediately felt my face blush red. There was the private investigator, but he was shirtless. And damn, he looked good. He was punching a punching bag, and when he looked up at me, he scowled.
I'm busy.
I took a deep breath and walked in. I'm sorry, Mr. Webner, but I can't waste any more time. My sister is missing.
No. I'm very busy with tons of other cases at the moment. Now leave.
Ugh! How rude! I wasn't gonna let this guy walk all over me. Excuse you! My sister needs your help, and you're just gonna abandon her?
Fine. Look, I'll do it for a fee.
I can pay you $10K. That's all I got.
10? My bare minimum rate is 50. Sorry, sweetie. Ain't gonna happen.
He continued to punch at the bag, and I grabbed hold of it suddenly, eyes aflame. How about this? I beat you in a sparring match, and you agree to take my $10K. If I lose, you take the $10K for yourself, and I leave, and we never have to see each other again. Mr. Webner smirked.
Deal. You're gonna regret this, little girl. I've taken martial arts for 5 years. Don't think I'll go easy on you.
His next words were snatched from his lips as I pounced on him. He was instantly knocked out.
What did you do to him?
Relax, he's fine. I grabbed a vase of flowers, dumped the flowers, and splashed his face with the remaining water.
Where am I?
Wake up, princess.
Wow, you really knocked me out, huh?
He looked impressed.
What's your name?
Ava.
Okay, Ava. I'll help you.
Thank you, Mr. Webner.
Please, call me Jaya.
The next day, we spent the whole time in his office working on leads. No matter how many times we called Abigail's boxing manager, the call went dead.
That's it. Come on.
Where are we going?
To wake up the lazy sleazeball himself.
An hour later, we pulled up at the manager's house. I have no idea how Jaya found his home address, but I was starting to believe this 100% success rate. When we arrived, Jaya walked straight up and knocked on the door.
Hello? Who are you? What do you want? Good afternoon, Mr. Langley. My name's Jaya Webner. I was wondering if you could put me in contact with your client, Abigail. We've called you many times. You're the one who's been calling me nonstop. Listen, If you want to interview Abigail, reach out to her yourself.
No, wait, please! She's my sister. She disappeared years ago and I just want to talk to her. The coach stared at me for a while, then burst out laughing.
That's the lamest excuse I've heard yet.
He slammed the door in our faces. Great. Just perfect. I turned around and stormed off.
Hey, Ava.
He grabbed my shoulder.
It's okay. We'll find her.
Suddenly, tears welled in my eyes. Where was this coming from? And then I burst out sobbing, leaning into Jaya's chest. I just miss her so much. I thought I'd never see her again, but now she's back, but she still feels so far away.
I know. It's gonna be okay.
I pulled away, and there was something about the look on Jaya's face. Let's go. A week passed, and we still hadn't gotten any more leads. But then one day, while I was having a relaxing bath, my phone rang and I rushed to answer it. Hello?
Hey, Ava. It's Jaya. I found your sister.
What? Really?
Yeah, one of my guys spotted her at the grocery store. I'll pick you up now.
Oh my god, okay! Jaya picked me up and he drove us over to the grocery store nearby. We ran inside and searched for someone who looked exactly like me. And finally, we found her in the milk aisle. Abigail!
Huh? Oh my god, you again? Are you a stalker or something?
Abigail, it's me! Your sister, Ava!
Sister? What are you talking about?
Can't you tell? We look exactly alike!
Whatever, that's just a coincidence. I don't have a twin. I would have known that.
Excuse me, Abigail. I'm Jaya Webner, private investigator. We've been searching for you for a long time.
Jaya explained everything to Abigail about how I had lost my twin years ago, and she's been missing ever since.
Wait, is this actually true?
Yes!
Well, I think I believe you, because many years ago I woke up and lost my memories. Where did you say I disappeared?
On a camping trip.
That's right. I was just a kid and I remember falling over and hitting my head. Another family found me when I woke up and I had no memories of anything before my fall. All I knew was that my name was Abigail. This other family raised me as their own and I've been living in England. It's only after I found a passion for boxing that I moved to the States. So, you're actually my sister?
I am.
Oh my god.
We hugged tightly.
I'm so sorry for being rude to you before.
That's okay.
And I'm sorry for punching you in the face.
That's okay too. That night, I brought Abigail to my house and I introduced her to our parents.
Oh, my baby.
Mom crushed her in a hug.
Darling, give her some space to breathe now.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just... Oh, I've missed you so much.
We had dinner and caught up on all the years we'd missed out on.
My foster parents sent me to a boarding school and sort of... Well, they just abandoned me. You're lucky to have your parents, Ava.
All that matters now is that we're together. I was so happy to have my sister back again. After dinner, we were chilling in the living room when the doorbell rang. I'll get it. I opened the door to find Jaya there. Jaya! Oh, do you want to come in for some dinner? We still have leftovers.
No, that's all right. Listen. It seems my work here is done, so, I'm flying to New York tonight.
What?
Yeah, I had been planning on moving for a while, but then you turned up and I had a reason to stay then. But now, well, now we have no reason to hang out with each other anymore.
But
Yes?
Never mind.
No. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say goodbye.
We hugged and he turned to leave, but before he could, I suddenly ran over to him and kissed him. After a while, we pulled apart.
That was unexpected.
Please don't go. I think I like you.
You do?
Oh God, I feel so embarrassed.
No, don't be, 'cause I think I like you too.
We kissed again.
Are you two lovebirds done licking each other's faces?
Sorry. Jaya, I'll see you tomorrow?
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
The next day, Abigail moved back home. She wasn't really close to her foster parents, so we were the closest thing she had to family. Mi casa es su casa.
Thanks, Ava.
We shared one bedroom, but after a few days, I discovered that Abigail was super messy. She would leave her clothes everywhere, leave food from days before, and never cleaned up her bed. It was like living in a pigsty. Me, on the other hand, I always kept my stuff sparkly clean. Abigail, do you think you could maybe clean up a little.
Are you telling me what to do after everything I've been through?
No, no! Sorry, you're right. What was that? I hadn't seen this side of Abigail before. I thought I knew my twin, but in the next few weeks, I discovered that I didn't know her at all. I got a call one day from my older manager.
Ava, good news! I managed to squeeze you into the upcoming boxing match in your city. Think of it as your great comeback.
Really? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you! You won't regret this!
Who was that, honey?
I told them the good news, and my parents hugged me tightly.
Oh, this is amazing.
No matter what happens, we're proud you're our daughter.
I smiled, but when I looked up, I noticed Abigail staring at us from the kitchen. She looked so angry. I wanted to call her over, but she left before I could. Weird. That same evening, I headed out to meet Jaya at the park for a date, but I bumped into Abigail on the way out.
Where are you heading?
To meet Jaya.
Oh, good. I'll come with you.
It's not really.
Ready?
Oh, okay. Great. Now she wanted to butt in on my date with Jaya, too? We met Jaya at the park and he handed me a bouquet of flowers.
Hey, what's your sister doing here?
I wanted to see your handsome face again.
Did Abigail really just say that? Jaya was my boyfriend. Why was she calling him handsome?
Oh, thanks.
Don't mention it, hot stuff.
Okay, should we start walking? Throughout the whole evening, Abigail was totally flirting with Jaya. It was so weird. Was my sister trying to make me jealous on purpose? I've got my comeback boxing match coming up. You can make it, right?
Of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
The only reason you got that match is 'cause I beat you instantly in our first match. I'm a much better boxer than you.
Yes, Abigail, that is true. But in our first match, I just found my long-lost twin. I think it's safe to say I was at a disadvantage.
What, are you saying you can beat me?
I'm just saying.
You want to go now, huh? Huh?
Whoa, Abigail. Let's all just relax here.
Oh, fine. Consider yourself lucky.
And then she stormed off. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Was my twin a jerk? This was not how I expected our reunion to be. Weeks later, after training day after day, it was finally time for my comeback boxing match. I waited in the prep room for my announcement as I walked on stage. The door opened and my family and Jaya walked in.
We just want to wish you luck before you went on stage.
Thank you.
We're so proud.
Thanks, Dad.
Good luck, babe. Please don't try to get too hurt. I prefer your face the way it is.
I'll try. I waved as they left, and then it was just me and Abigail. Listen, Abigail, I think we started off wrong. I know this sounds weird, but I can't help but feel like you don't like me.
Well, you're not wrong.
Huh?
You don't deserve this life. I deserve this life. It should have been you who lost your memories.
But
you have the loving parents, the amazing boyfriend, a successful career. And what do I have? Nothing.
That's not true. Now you do have a family.
A little too late, don't you think? But anyways, I guess we can cross off the successful career off that list of yours.
Huh?
Yeah, you're not getting on stage.
Wait! I ran forward and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. She locked me in. How could she? Hours passed and I yelled and screamed for help, but no one came. Finally, after ages, the door opened again and everyone was there.
Ava, what happened?
Abigail happened. She locked me in here.
What? How could you do this? I don't need you guys. I'm leaving tomorrow to go back to England. I can see I'm not wanted here.
But... And she left without another word. That was the last time I'd ever see her. I was sad to see my sister go, but I could see we weren't the twin besties we used to be. Luckily for me, I had Jaya there. And one day, on a romantic walk along the beach, he got down on one knee and proposed. Yes! As we planned our wedding, I couldn't help but have this very strong feeling that our wedding should be in Thailand, at a specific hotel. I can't explain the feeling, but it felt like a magnet pulling me into this specific location.
Thailand? Sure.
Months later, we arrived at the hotel in Thailand. It was beautiful. I walked into the lobby and then ran into myself. Well, not myself. My twin. Abigail?
Ava?
What are you doing here? I'm getting married.
Oh.
You go first.
I met my old boyfriend and we got back together and, well, we're getting married.
Wow. Me and Jaya decided to seal the deal too.
That's great.
Silence stretched between us. Then,
I'm sorry.
huh?
I'm sorry for everything. I've been the worst sister in the world, and I realize that now. I was just jealous of you. I wanted your life. Can you forgive me?
Of course I can forgive you. You're my sister, my twin. We're bound for life.
What a coincidence we both picked Thailand, huh?
It sounds weird, but I had a gut feeling I had to have my wedding here.
Really? Me too.
Weird.
Just when I was about to go on stage in front of 1,000 people, my stepsister pushed me from the back and I fell over the audience, ending up in the hospital. All this just because she was jealous of my fame. Hi, my name is Aisha and I'm from Turkey. Please like and subscribe. My parents abandoned me at the door of an orphanage. Growing up at the orphanage, the social workers noticed that my fingers were growing weirdly longer than those of the other kids. So when I turned 7, they decided to take me to piano classes.
Your long fingers might just win you a spot to be amongst the stars.
Really? That would be amazing. My piano teacher gave me daily lessons, and 1 year later, when the orphanage organized a fundraising event, I played the piano for the first time in front of an audience. After my performance, I received a standing ovation from the crowd. Then later, I was approached by a social worker and a family.
Aisha, my darling, these are Serdar and Fasan, your new parents.
I raised my eyes, and a beautiful young couple was standing in front of me. Next to them was a girl about my age, too.
Hello, dear. This is also your new sister, Fatma.
Hello, Fatma. Hello, Mr. and Mrs.
Oh, please, call us Mom and Dad.
The family that adopted me was crazy rich and took me home in their Rolls Royce. Their house was 10 times the size of the orphanage. As soon as I walked in, Fatma invited me to her bedroom. It was huge.
These are my dresses.
I'd never seen so many dresses before in my life.
Can I see yours?
Well, you just saw it. I only have this.
Are you serious? Then don't you dare touch any of my dresses.
What? Why would I do that?
'Cause you're poor and an orphan, and that's what you people do. My parents made a mistake bringing you here, and I'll make them return you.
Return me? What am I, one of your dresses to get a refund on? I left her bedroom. Fortunately, my adoptive parents were great people. They treated me equally as their daughter.
Here, my darlings. I brought these shoes for you. They are the same, so you can look like two beautiful twins.
Thank you, Mom.
But as soon as Mom left, Fatma went back to being a brat.
If you wear those shoes, I'll tell everyone that you talk in your sleep, asking for Mommy. So you better give those to me.
I don't care. Mom brought us both the shoes, and I'll keep mine. I might be an orphan, but I was no fool. I wasn't going to let my bratty new sister boss me around. Some months later, on my supposed 10th birthday, my adoptive parents finally bought me a piano so I could go back to taking my classes. It was beautiful, all covered in gold. They even hired the same teacher I had in the orphanage, which made me tremendously happy. But as soon as I started my classes, Fatma was so jealous that one day I woke up to find my piano all destroyed.
What happened here? Aisha, why would you do this?
It wasn't me.
It was her, Mom. I saw her.
How could you be so ungrateful? We're sheltering you, giving you everything you need, and this is how you pay us back?
Unbelievable. Fatma evilly smiled behind her mom's back. I was grounded for 2 weeks, but later they bought me another piano, and this time it was the strongest one, so no one would be able to break it. And I was back in the game. I practiced constantly for 4 years, ignoring Fatma's attempts to discourage me, and I applied for the biggest classical music festival in town. On the day of the festival, my life changed forever. When I woke up that morning, I noticed something weird. My fingers were glued to each other. Fatma! Instead of Fatma, Mom walked into my bedroom.
What's wrong? Oh my gosh! What did you do to your hands? Again, Aisha, you are wasting our time. If you don't want to play the piano anymore, you can just say. You don't have to be so extreme.
But Fatma did this to me.
Stop it! Fatma is just a kid, just like you. Don't make us regret bringing you here.
And I wasn't going to make them regret it. I got up from bed, got dressed, and decided to participate in the concert just like that. While on stage, I pulled myself together and decided not to cry in front of the others, just like my teacher had told me. And guess what? I did great and won first prize. Right when I was awarded the prize, Fatma showed up out of nowhere and joined the winner's picture, acting as the sweet sister. From that moment on, she completely changed her attitude towards me.
Congratulations, my sister. I was so wrong about you.
Well, thank you. The next day in school, she would only stick to me. telling everyone about how great a pianist I was. But of course, all this candy behavior stopped when the cutest guy in school approached me. His name was Ahmed.
Hey, Aisha.
I stopped playing immediately.
No, please keep going. I love how you play music.
I turned red, but I kept going. I felt that he was staring at me while I was playing.
Oh, Ahmed, what are you doing here? I've been looking for you.
And she took his hand and they left together. But she came back alone 2 minutes later.
Listen to me, you poor orphan. You had everything you wanted from my life. But Ahmed is mine. Do you hear me?
Is he your boyfriend?
He might become if you leave us alone. If I ever see you again with him, you'll be in so much trouble.
And she left. What was wrong with her? I mean, Ahmed was super cute, but if she wanted him and he wanted her, whatever. There's plenty of fish in the sea. But it seemed like Ahmed was more attracted to me than her because he came back the next day when I was playing the piano. I had my camera turned on for a YouTube video when Fatma came furiously.
You asked for it!
As she opened a can full of paint and was about to throw it at me, but right then she slipped and the can fell over her, covering her in yellow paint. Ahmed looked at me and then took my hand and we went out to sit under a tree in the school garden, and that was one of the best moments of my life.
Aisha, you are a great piano player. I love the sound of the music that you make. Would you like to go out with me?
Really? But what's the story with my sister? I thought you liked her.
Fatma? I only met her twice. I don't like Fatma at all.
What a moron. She did all those scenes just because she was jealous of Ahmed coming after me.
I like you.
I stared at him. He stared at me. Our lips moved closer and we almost kissed. But right then, Fatma showed up in the tree just like a monkey and threw the rest of the paint at us, making us all yellow. What the heck? I left Ahmed and ran home to tell everything to Mom. But her reaction was unexpected.
Listen, I've had enough of your lies. Ever since you got here, you started blaming Fatma for everything. Well, it's not her fault. And even if it was, she's my real daughter. Do you expect me to punish her for things that a stranger says?
A stranger? But there was more to it.
I discussed it with my husband. We think it's best if we take you back to the orphanage.
What? What the heck was that? And they did return me the next day. When they dropped me off in front of the orphanage, Fatma said,
I'm sorry. I tried hard to make it work with you, but you just won't listen.
Yes, I won't listen to the garbage that comes out of your mouth. And I took my backpack from the car and went inside. Again, after many years, I was a poor orphan. I picked up my piano lessons, and in the next 2 years, I was one of the most famous piano players in the country. When I turned 18, I was allowed to join a worldwide tour and open for the greatest piano player. Such an honor. One night after closing the concert in Brussels, I decided to walk to the hotel. On the way there, I saw a guy walking and holding hands with a girl, but when I got closer to them, I heard them speaking in Turkish, and it made me take a second look. It was Ahmed. He also saw me and stopped.
Hey, wow, what a coincidence.
And before he could say anything else, I saw that the girl standing next to him was Fatma. Well, I see that some people came out differently at the end.
We moved to Brussels in actual universities, and not in orphanage classes for studies. Let's go, honey. We have no time to waste with this useless person.
It seemed as if Ahmed wanted to say something, but Fatma pulled his arm and they left. As soon as I got home, I became a little nostalgic and checked my phone for pictures and videos from when I was living with the family. To my surprise, I found a video of when I was playing the piano. And guess what? The time Fatma tried to throw yellow paint on me was caught on camera. I posted it on social media and it reached millions of views overnight. The next day, Ahmed was waiting for me outside a theater I had just performed at.
Hey, great concert. I was among the audience.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You were great. And about yesterday, I broke up with Fatma and I was wondering if you're available to go out with me.
Sure, why not? Let's go right now. I mean, I always liked Ahmed, and we never exchanged that kiss, so it was worth giving it a try. I'd gained so much confidence since I had started being in front of huge audiences, and I wasn't shy anymore. Plus, boys were standing in line for me, and I was used to the attention by then. We walked together to the nearest sushi place, sat down, and had a long chat and dinner. Before leaving, he said,
Hey, do you mind picking up the check? I forgot my wallet at home.
I would have paid anyway, but it was weird to be asked that. Anyway, I paid, and we left the place when he continued.
Hey, do you mind if I sleep at your hotel tonight? My roommate has his girlfriend over.
I did have a spare bedroom. All right, sure. And we went to the 5-star hotel where I was staying. Ahmed stayed in the room next to me. The next morning, I wanted to say hi to him, but he had disappeared together with all my jewelry and some cash I had in the drawers. What a piece of wood! I called the police and they came quickly and started an investigation. 2 days later, they caught Ahmed and deported him back home. The next day, I was going to perform at my last concert in Brussels. When I was about to go on stage in front of 1,000 people, the audience suddenly started to change their mood, and they were all pointing behind me. When I turned around, I saw the devil running towards me.
You made Ahmed leave! You also leave!
She pushed me and I fell over the crowd. I broke an arm and ended up in the hospital where I spent many nights. To my surprise, Mom visited me.
I'm sorry about everything. I saw the video you posted. So many things I didn't know about my daughter. We sent her to a rehab center. She needed professional help. But we are grateful you were always so calm and patient. I guess it's too late now to ask you to come back to our family since now you have everything.
I learned a lesson. That in life, you never know how things might turn out. That's why I'm glad you're keeping the door open for me. She smiled and left. After 50 years, when my adoptive parents passed away, I heard the news while playing in Beijing. Later, I received a letter saying that they had split all of their possessions between me and Fatma, besides the house. That belonged to me now. I decided to turn it into an orphanage for kids under 10.
Can you believe that my sister and I have been fighting over the crown of this kingdom for years? Hi, I'm Natalie. Please like and subscribe. My twin sister Valerie and I grew up in a huge castle by a silent river. My about 1,000 years ago, my ancestors built this kingdom from scratch, and now our dad is the king. Everyone used to tell us that we were very pretty. Even though Valerie and I were one of those twins that didn't resemble each other, Dad treated us equally from day one. I had long, dark brown hair, and she had short blonde hair, but our eyes were both blue. We grew up without a mom. She went to heaven 2 years after our birth. I was very little, but I remember Dad crying for nights and nights. One day, when we were 10 years old, Dad came home with 2 big chests full of gold. They both contained the same amount of gold.
Here, my little rabbits. These are for you, for when you grow up to invest them in your dreams. There is 100 kilograms of pure gold from the mountains where we are coming from for each of you.
It was so shiny and beautiful. Not for Valerie, apparently, because she started complaining.
Why should Natalie take the same amount as me?
Because you are both sisters and twins. You deserve to be equal.
We are not equal. I am more beautiful and smarter than her.
You two should stick together. There will come a day when you will have to join forces and stick together instead of being divided. If our enemies find out that you two don't get along, it will be very easy for them to take the castle from your hands.
Got it, Dad?
Got it, Dad?
But it turns out, this was just a test from Dad.
What you see is not real gold. It's just cheap metal covered with yellow shiny paint. You both failed to cooperate. And I can tell you, you are not ready to have this much power in your hands.
See? You ruined it! Just because you can't accept the truth! Now I have no gold because you can't keep your mouth shut!
Me? You ruined it!
She stared at me in anger for a few seconds, then suddenly jumped at me, pulling my hair. It was a big fight. Years passed, and Valerie and I grew even more distant. Once, when we were 15, a crazy winter was going on. Outside, there was a snowstorm and everything was frozen. Because of that, even we, the royal family, were short on food because all the animals had gone to warmer areas and all the vegetables were buried under snow at the moment. One night, Dad, Valerie, and I were seated at the dinner table, waiting for the butlers to serve us food. But when the servant came, he only brought 2 baked potatoes. I was shocked.
Is this a joke? You're fired!
Valerie, sweetheart, it's not his fault.
That's all that's left. I shared every last piece of food with everyone in the kingdom.
Why would you do that? They are poor creatures. We are rich, and we are the royal family. We deserve all of it.
You don't even deserve those 2 potatoes.
You shut up! You're not eating. These 2 potatoes are just for Dad and me.
That's okay, honey. I won't eat. You two can eat them. Our scientist said that soon it will be sunny again.
Then I'm eating both.
And she did! She devoured both of them in a second. What a jerk!
I stood up crying and left the dinner room with an empty stomach, went to my room, and cried all night. The morning after, when I woke up, I couldn't believe my eyes. I looked out the window, and it was sunny. I saw Dad leaving together with the hunters and their horses and retrievers to go and provide food for the castle. He was such an inspiring figure to me. One day, I wanted to be queen just so I could care for our kingdom the way he did. I'm sure Mom would have been proud. I got dressed, went downstairs, and saw Valerie in front of the fireplace. What are you doing up this early?
That's none of your business. But since you look desperate, I will tell you. Dad promised me that when he comes back from hunting, he would bring a surprise just for me, and he would bring you nothing.
Dad said that? I looked at the butler for approval. He rolled his eyes but didn't say anything. I smiled at him and told Valerie, "Well, I hope you enjoy what he brings you. Meanwhile, would you care to go for a walk in the garden with me? The snow has melted and the path is clear."
Are you out of your mind? It's still cold.
As I headed to the door, Valerie continued,
"But you can stay here with me. I will act like I don't mind."
I stopped, turned to her, smiled, and went to sit next to her. We were both looking at the fire. "Why are you like you are? Why do you want everything for yourself? I am your sister."
I know, but one day I will be the queen. I have to prepare myself now.
What makes you think that? We are twins. I could be queen too.
I can't believe you. Haven't I told you many times that I am smarter and more beautiful than you?
I looked at her in anger, but luckily she smiled, because otherwise I would have jumped on her. We stayed in front of the fireplace for hours and hours next to each other. For the first time in my life, I was feeling like I did have a sister. We fell asleep and woke up when we heard the horses approach the castle.
Dad is here! Now watch the surprise that he has for me and cry.
When the door of the castle opened, I did cry, both of us. 5 hunters were holding the gigantic and strong body of Dad. We ran on him, but he wasn't breathing and was messed up. His face was full of scars.
Dad! Dad! What happened?
Milady, we were in the woods and we saw a deer. We always shoot from a distance, but His Majesty had run out of arrows, so approached the deer from a close range with a knife.
What? The deer did this to him?
No, milady. A bear that had seen the same deer and wanted her for himself.
My world fell apart. I was having trouble breathing and I passed out. When I woke up, I was in a bed and 3 people were over me, but none of them were Valerie. What happened to Valerie? Where is she? How is she?
Don't worry, milady. She is fine in her bedroom.
I didn't leave the room until Dad's funeral. Then, after a week, when I woke up one morning and went downstairs, I was shocked by what I saw. Valerie was wearing the queen's crown and was going around the castle giving orders to everyone. I went to her in the garden.
Is that the way to cut a flower? You idiot! Go home! You're fired!
No, stay here. Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?
No, go! What does it look like I'm doing? I've taken over the castle. I am the queen now. And it's about time someone put in some order in this kingdom, because Dad had become too lenient in his reign. This kingdom didn't deserve him. He was too kind. But now I am in charge.
No, you're not. Take off the crown.
No thanks.
Take off the crown immediately. First of all, there should be a protocol and ceremony to name the new queen.
Been there, done that, while you were asleep.
It doesn't count. And second, it hasn't even been a week since Dad passed. And all you can think about is this stupid crown!
If it's stupid, why do you want it then? Guards! She insulted a royal object. Take her!
But of course, the guards didn't move because they hadn't seen the ceremony yet and didn't recognize Valerie as queen. I couldn't care less about being the queen at the moment, but I also couldn't stand being ruled by a brat like Valerie. One day, 6 months later, Valerie was arguing with the governor of the castle who had been taking care of internal affairs forever. Dad trusted him blindly, and so did I. What's going on here?
Milady, nothing important enough to bother you.
It's all because of you. If you would just give up your stupid ambition of wanting to be the queen, I'd be the queen by now, and the kingdom would be fine. But thanks to you, we are facing economical issues now, and the governor here is making insane suggestions.
I would like to hear his suggestion.
Milady, our kingdom is part of the 7 kingdoms of the Northern Lands. Your ancestors have signed an agreement that if any of these kingdoms would be left without a king or queen for more than 3 months, we have to inform them to send us the diplomat who would evaluate the best person that should take over. You knew about this and you didn't say anything?
Valerie turned red and left the room. I asked the governor to inform the Congress of the 7 kingdoms to send us the delegate. 1 month later, the delegate arrived. His name was Charles, and he was so handsome. But most importantly, he was a real gentleman. My sister and I were waiting for him in the main hall, and he bowed down and kissed our hands.
OMG!
I had a crush on him already, but I had to stop myself from doing anything stupid because he was here to judge who the future queen would be.
My ladies, you know why I'm here. Therefore, I would like to start by giving you some tasks. First of all, I want to see how you manage tough situations.
Well, if we go together to the main hall, I can show you how I manage tough situations.
Seriously, now was not the time to flirt! My lady, it's best if the tasks are performed in the presence of your sister and the governor. I am required to have testimonies. The first situation, imagine that you are the queen.
I don't have to imagine. I am the queen.
Shut up!
Charles looked at me in a very weird way, and I just realized I'd done a stupid thing.
Okay, I think I have the answer to how you manage things. No, please! That's okay, my lady. There are 2 more tasks. What would you do to maintain internal relationships with other kingdoms and avoid wars?
Avoid wars? That's ridiculous. Why would we avoid wars? We are the strongest kingdom in the world, and we can win over anyone and anything.
Okay, I think I got this answer as well. I started to stress out. What if Valerie won the last task? That would be a disaster. Last question before I conclude. What would you do if the people were experiencing food shortages?
No one of us answered straight away, but I knew exactly what the answer was. I would go myself to hunt and provide food for our people until my last breath, just like my father did. Valerie was still thinking. What was there to think about? The answer was obvious, or at least for me, because she surprised me.
I would send every man for hunting, but I would stay in the castle in case something happens.
What a jerk!
I immediately regretted saying that in front of Charles, but he laughed at my reaction.
Well, one of you gave the right answer, which defines the future queen. She is Valerie! What? How could that moron have given the right answer?
Turns out, no matter how noble my answer was, there was a protocol that said the queen or king had to stay safe as possible because otherwise the kingdom would turn into chaos. That's why we were in this situation now. Valerie had chosen to stay inside, thus aligning with the requirements of a queen. I started crying and went upstairs when I bumped into the governor. I hugged him as if he were my dad.
Milady, you shouldn't cry. But she became the queen. She will make my life miserable from now on. No, she won't.
He smiled at me and showed me a bunch of papers. Then he went downstairs to Charles and Valerie and handed the papers to them.
What's this trash?
This trash, milady, is what your father has signed. While I was looking for the papers to sign for the new queen, I found this in his drawers. In these papers is written the adoption permission from your parents to the late king. Valerie, you cannot be queen. You do not have royal blood. What? I couldn't believe it! Valerie was adopted?
This can't be true! We're twins!
You were the daughter of the ex-queen's sister, who unfortunately has also passed away in a glorious battle, and she fought bravely, together with your father. Therefore, Miss Natalie has the legal right to become queen. Well, case closed. I'm heading back home.
Wait! He stopped, and I went to find Valerie. She was crying. Valerie, please don't cry.
But I am adopted! Are you happy now?
I am because I still love you the same way, which means that for me it doesn't matter who your parents are. You will always be my sister. Valerie raised her head and looked at me for a moment, then burst into tears. She hugged me as she'd never done before, and I knew this time she meant it. We will rule together. I will take every piece of advice that you will give me. I promise.
In this case, my business is over here.
Please, stay a little longer. We need your help. You seem to know everything about ruling a kingdom. And it was true. Charles did know everything about it. He promised to stay with us until I'd be completely ready to rule the kingdom. 5 months later, Charles and I were traveling in a horse-drawn carriage when he started talking to me sweetly.
My lady, no matter how inappropriate this might seem, I cannot keep for myself anymore the fact that I am in love with you.
He was so cute. His eyes were shining when he said that. I couldn't say a word at that moment. Stop the carriage!
Are you going to leave me here?
I smiled and asked him to come out of the carriage with me. When we went out, the most beautiful scenery opened in front of us. We were riding along a massive canyon and it was almost sunset. Everything was beautiful and perfect. I missed Dad for a moment, but I believe Charles was sent to me from Dad to protect me, to take care of me, just like Dad used to. I turned to Charles and hugged him. Then I looked at him right in his beautiful eyes. I love you too. We kissed for the first time, and it was magical.
Honey, I'd like you to meet Alyssa.
I extended my hand, and Alyssa smiled as she shook it. It's nice to meet you, Candace. I've heard so much about you. Dad's phone buzzed.
Please excuse me, I have to take this.
Alyssa nodded, and Dad left the room. Alyssa suddenly leaned towards me. If you don't do as I say, I'll make your life a living nightmare. Hi there, I'm Candace from Ireland. Please like and subscribe. When I was 3, Mom passed away from an illness, and it's just been Dad and I ever since. Dad and I were very close. He always treated me like his little princess, and we'd get manis and petties together, go to the movies. He'd even set up my dolls and stuffed animals, and we'd pretend that we were runaway models. When I was 15, Dad introduced me to his girlfriend Alyssa, and 6 months later, they were married. She did and said all the right things when Dad was around. Ethan, I think it's time Candace got her own computer. Or, I think Candace and I should have a girls' day out. She'd always blink flirtatiously at Dad, and he was swooned by her charm. But he had no idea how evil she really was when he wasn't around. One weekend, Dad was out of town for business. I was in my room when Alyssa burst in and threw a waitress's outfit on my bed. Put this on and meet me downstairs. You'll be the waitress tonight at my party, or I'll tell your father you were out past your curfew. I groaned as Alyssa walked out. I quickly got dressed and went downstairs. I didn't want to be around Alyssa's friends, so I did everything possible for her to send me back to my room. First, I dropped a tray of salmon platters on a guest. Then I accidentally pulled off the wig of a man who was flirting with Alyssa, and finally, during dinner, I poured wine into Alyssa's lap instead of her wine glass. Look what you did, you worthless child! She stood up furiously. Get out of here! I smiled slyly, walked upstairs, and locked myself in my room for the rest of the night. The next day, I came home from school and Dad found all the pictures of Mom, Dad, and I torn to pieces on my bed. Alyssa was standing in my bedroom doorway with an evil snarl on her face. You don't need those pictures anymore. Your dad is happy with me. Immediately, I called Dad on the phone and told him what had happened.
Candace, they are just pictures. You should have had them stored on your computer.
Dad, she tore up my pictures. How could you take her side?
She was upset after you embarrassed her in front of her friends. I'm sure she didn't mean it. Candace, I have to go. I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Carla and I'm from Canada. My life was pretty normal until one day while walking to school, the most bizarre thing happened.
Carla, watch out!
My neighbor and classmate Danny yelled as his bike sped towards me. I jumped out of the way and landed in a ditch while Danny and his bike went flying through some bushes.
Ouch, I think I broke my leg.
Serves you right for almost killing me. I was so busy trying to get out of the ditch and cursing Danny that I didn't notice someone walk up to me.
Hi, Carla. Need some help?
I looked up at the unfamiliar voice. The most beautiful girl I'd ever seen was standing there, her hand extended to me. I'm not exaggerating, guys. She was stunning. She had these ocean blue, sparkling eyes and jet black silky hair. And her teeth were so white they hardly looked real. Who are you and why do you know my name?
I'm Olivia. Let me help you.
Do you want to know what happened next? Then please subscribe and keep watching this video. When I was 8 years old, my dad gave me a beautiful doll and told me her name was Alexa. I loved Alexa, but Mom kept saying that Alexa didn't look right. Being only 8, I didn't know what that meant. One day, I came home from school to find Mom throwing Dad's things on the lawn, threatening to burn them. Our neighbors were standing outside watching the drama unfold.
I'm warning you, Marcus. I will set it all on fire if you don't get that thing away from Carla.
Stop making a scene, Lydia. The doll is harmless and Carla loves her.
Were they talking about Alexa? Mom? Dad? What's going on? They both turned towards me. I guess they were too busy trying to kill each other to notice the school bus drop me off. Dad was holding Alexa protectively while Mom was throwing loads of Dad's stuff all over the lawn. Danny, who was the school head of the bullies, stood on the sidewalk, his bully friends with him.
Oh, Carla, your parents are crazy. Is your house a madhouse?
His bully friends laughed as they took off down the street on their bikes.
Carla, honey, please go inside.
I followed Mom to our front door and she asked me to go to my room and wait for her. When she came in later, Dad and his stuff were gone, and so was Alexa. That was almost 10 years ago. Now I'm a senior in high school. Scratch that. I'm the hottest senior in high school. At least according to every boy at my school. Well, except Danny. He's still a bully and he still calls my house the madhouse. Ugh. After Olivia helped me get out of the ditch, she vanished. One minute, I was talking to her while collecting my books, and when I looked up, she was gone. I hurried to the school wondering who she was, and how did she know who I was? It was kind of creepy. While in class, I heard some movement outside the window and I turned to look. You wouldn't believe what I saw. Olivia was staring at me with her face plastered to the window, her eyes unnaturally wide. I stood up from my desk screaming and she took off running. When my classmates turned to see what was going on, she was already gone. I swear there was someone right there.
Are you seeing things, Carla?
Danny and his buddies were now making fun of me, saying I was losing it. I'm not crazy, there was a girl there. My outburst made them laugh even more. When I got home that day and told Mom about my strange day, she just brushed it off. No one believed me, but I was sure of what I saw. Olivia was real. Guys, you believe me, right? A few days later, I got home from school to find a police officer outside our house. And with him was my dad. I ran and hugged him, but he started to sob loudly. Dad, what's wrong? Aren't you happy to see me?
Carla, I'm so sorry. Your mom was in a car accident. She's gone, honey.
I fell to my knees as Dad and the officers gave me the worst news of my life. I had so many questions, but I just let Dad comfort me. The next couple of days were tough, but Dad helped me with the funeral arrangements, and after the funeral, I had no choice but to move in with him. So, where have you been this whole time? Dad was driving me to his house.
Carla, I'm so sorry I left. I've been working at a lab in Germany, but I came back a few weeks ago.
I got the shock of my life when I walked into Dad's fancy house because standing there was Olivia. I knew I wasn't crazy. What are you doing here? Did you follow me here too?
What are you talking about?
This girl has been following me. She even came to my school. She's a creep.
Calm down, Carla. Olivia didn't follow you here. She lives here.
I was lost.
Carla, meet your stepsister, Olivia.
This was crazy. She has been stalking me for the past couple of weeks.
That's impossible. Olivia is homeschooled and she never leaves the house.
Oh, is that right? Do her lessons involve teaching her how to be a stalker?
Now calm down, young lady. That's no way to talk to me or your sister.
She's not my sister. She's just a...
That's enough, Carla.
Dad was angry now and he was about to scold me, but Olivia interrupted.
It's okay, Dad. She's telling the truth.
See?
I only wanted to get to know her and may have shown up at the school a couple of times.
Shown up? You scared me and made my classmates think I'm a psycho.
I'm really sorry, Dad, but when we moved back here, I thought we would look for Carla right away, but you and Mom didn't seem to be in a hurry. I just wanted to get to know Carla better.
I can't believe you did that. What if someone found out that...
Dad stopped talking and looked at me nervously. Found out what?
That I'm...
Olivia, don't.
She looked at Dad wide eyes and then she started to shake violently like she was having a seizure. What's wrong with her? Dad didn't answer me. Instead, he picked up Olivia and carried her up the stairs. I followed and saw him enter a room, but when I tried to walk in, he banged the door in my face. Rude? What do you think Olivia was about to tell me?
Hey, Carla, I hope you remembered to take your crazy meds. We don't want you screaming at ghosts again.
The whole class burst out laughing at Danny's teasing.
Apologize to her, now!
Olivia stood over Danny, her fists clenched. Where had she come from? Ever since her mini meltdown at home, Dad had been treating her like she was an egg. He fussed over her and rarely let her out of his sight. Olivia? What are you doing here?
Dad finally let me join your school. Isn't it great?
She smiled at me and then turned to Danny.
I said, apologize to my sister. Now!
She took a step towards him. How could she be smiling 1 second and so mad the next?
Sister, you're crazy just like her.
Olivia pounced on Danny like an angry cat. She punched him in the face and Danny fell backwards, clutching his nose.
Ouch, you broke my nose.
And I'll break it again if you ever come near my sister. Now move.
She pushed Danny off his chair and sat in it. By lunch, the whole school was talking about Olivia. Everyone moved out of the way as she and I walked past them. Olivia never left my side. She even stood outside the door when I went to the bathroom. Everyone was mesmerized by Olivia's beauty. The boys drooled at her and my friends kept talking about how pretty she was. I even saw them touch and sniff her silky hair. Soon, my friends started to pay more attention to her and to her perfect everything. As if that was not enough, Olivia was super intelligent. She had a photographic memory and she solved math problems in seconds. Teachers adored her. By the end of the first week, everyone was worshipping the ground she walked on. Despite all her popularity, Olivia never made any friends. All she did was follow me everywhere I went. On my birthday, I invited my friends to my dad's house, even though I knew not many people would show up, since I wasn't that popular anymore. Much to my surprise, almost the entire school showed up to the party. I was so excited, until I saw them all handing presents to Olivia and wishing her a happy birthday. I couldn't believe it. She hijacked my birthday. You're the worst sister in the world. I furiously wiped tears from my face and ran to my bedroom, only to walk in the worst possible scene a girl could see on her birthday. My boyfriend Emmett was kissing Gigi, a girl in our class, in my bedroom. Get out! Get out! I pulled my hair and stomped my feet like a mad toddler.
Carla, what's going on?
Ugh, Of course, Olivia had followed me. I caught them kissing.
What?
Gigi tried to leave the room, but Olivia blocked her. Get out of my way. Gigi pushed Olivia and it was chaos from there. Olivia looked possessed. She and Gigi were at each other's necks, but Gigi was no match for Olivia. Seriously, what had Dad been feeding her? Come to think of it, I'd never seen her eat. Not even once. Anyway, back to my bedroom, which now looked like a war zone. Olivia and Gigi were screaming at each other, rolling on the floor. Emmett and I tried to separate them, but I ended up with a scratch on my face and Emmett got a chipped tooth. Gigi grabbed Olivia by her hair and pulled hard. Emmett and I watched in horror as Olivia's hair came right off. It was a wig. Olivia quickly got up away from Gigi. She tried to cover her bald head, but it was too late. And that was not all. One of her eyes was bulging out, distorted and looking really creepy. Oh my god, what's wrong with your face? Gigi dropped Olivia's wig and bolted out of there. Emmett looked so terrified and, to be honest, so was I. When Olivia turned to him, he took a few steps back.
Don't come near me.
Olivia didn't listen. She grabbed him and pushed him hard. Together, they fell through my bedroom window and landed on our lawn. I ran down the stairs and went out the front door. I saw Emmett get up and limp down the driveway, disappearing down the street. Kids stared in horror at Olivia, who, at this point, looked like a zombie. Olivia, are you okay?
Alexa?
She started twitching and shaking, then she fell with a loud thud. Everyone ran away screaming. A few minutes later, Dad walked out to the lawn and ran straight to Olivia. Is she dead?
No.
We need to take her to the hospital.
She doesn't need a hospital.
He picked her up and went into the house, where he ordered everyone to leave. I didn't understand what was happening until the most shocking thing happened. Dad took Olivia to her room, laid her on the bed, lifted her shirt, and plugged an electric charger in her. The words "system charging" sent my brain on a whirlwind. What? What's going on? I was terrified and ready to bolt when Dad caught my hand and begged me to sit down so he could explain.
Carla, Olivia is your childhood doll, Alexa.
No way. But how is that possible?
She's not a normal doll, she's a robot.
Dad explained that he created Alexa when I was young, but when Mom found out how similar to a human being the doll was, she freaked out and kicked Dad out, calling him crazy. In Germany, Dad met Margaret, a scientist just like him. She helped him develop Alexa to look even more human. One day, however, Olivia found photos of me and told Dad that she wanted to meet me. And reluctantly, Dad agreed to move back to Canada.
I called your mom immediately when we moved back, but she refused to let me see you.
As Dad continued to explain, Olivia woke up all charged and Dad fixed her hair and put her eye back in place. She looked at me and smiled.
I'm sorry, Carla, I just wanted to be close to you.
I felt strange about this whole thing. So what happens now?
Now we move back to Germany, where Olivia's secret is safe. And no more school for you, Olivia.
That's okay, Dad. I don't need school anyway.
So, Carla, will you come with us?
What do you think I said? Hi, my name is Lucy, and I'm from Canada. When I'm not busy fantasizing about Josh, the hottest boy in school, I lead the math and science club, aka the Nerd Squad. One day, my sister Mel caught me kissing my bathroom mirror, pretending it was Josh. She got it all on video and shared it with the entire school. I was humiliated. What do you think Josh said when he saw the video? Watch till the end to find out. Mel and I were 1 year apart, Mel being the older one. Our dad raised us, and neither of us had ever met our mom. Every time we asked our dad about her, he said that she left right after I was born, married another man, and moved to another country. She was definitely not winning the Mom of the Year award. Josh is so hot. Every time I see him, I'm tempted to just grab him and kiss him. I walked up to my bathroom mirror and started to kiss it, pretending it was Josh. I was leaving lipstick marks all over the ice-cold mirror, but I didn't care. Josh, you're such a good kisser. I kept kissing the mirror as I caressed it with my hands, imagining Josh's perfect face. You're such a psycho, Lucy. The sound of Mel's laughter startled me and I hit my nose in the mirror. Ouch! I turned angrily, clutching my now bleeding nose. What are you doing in my room? Dad sent me to get you and I walked in to see you violating the poor mirror. I can't believe I got all that on video. Wait until I show it to everyone at school. Tracy will love this one. I was horrified. Tracy was Josh's girlfriend and the leader of the Mean Girl Crusade at school. I grabbed Mel, trying to take her phone away from her, but she wrestled herself free and ran out of my room. By the time I got to school, everyone, and I mean everyone, had already seen the video. When I walked to my usual table in the cafeteria during lunch, my friends all packed up their trays and walked away.
Lucy, right?
I was startled from my nightmare by Josh. Wait, why was he talking to me? The last time he even looked my way was when he was failing calculus and Mrs. Roger, our math teacher, asked me to help him out. By the time I was done tutoring him, I developed a huge crush. I knew he was dating Tracy, but I didn't care. I was in love.
Hello?
Josh waved a hand in my face. Oh, yeah, how may I help you? Good God, I sounded like some customer care representative waiting to serve him.
So, you think I'm a good kisser?
I was going to die of embarrassment. Josh, I'm so sorry. You weren't supposed to see that.
It's okay, I don't mind. I think it's kind of sweet that you have a crush on me. Maybe we could hang out sometime.
What? This had to be a prank. Josh was smiling, waiting for my answer. Okay. Sure, If it isn't Lucy, the mirror-kissing loser. Tracy walked up and stood next to Josh. Mel and a bunch of other girls joined her. You can fantasize about Josh all you want, but he's mine. Right, Josh? Josh stayed silent. But Josh had been so kind to me a few seconds ago. Was he that afraid of Tracy? I got up from the table, tears already falling from my eyes. I tried to run, but Tracy blocked me. She grabbed my lunch tray and dumped it on my head. Hot soup dripped from my hair to my face. Then she shoved the tray at me. Here, how about you kiss that? Maybe it can be your new boyfriend. She flipped her hair, high-fived her friends, and they walked away laughing. Mel looked back at me and I saw how sad she looked, but she never stayed to help me. She quickly followed Tracy back to their table. Josh watched me with a horrified look on his face.
Lucy, I'm so sorry. Let me help you clean up.
Stay away from me. I ran out of there, leaving a trail of soup and most of my lunch on the floor. From that point on, Mel started to avoid me both at home and in school, and she became even meaner to me. She was ignoring me when she was the one that released the video and humiliated me at school. Why was she suddenly treating me like the bad guy? School became a nightmare. I even begged Dad to let me drop out and get a job waiting tables or something. He said I was being dramatic, but I wasn't. I sat alone in class and at lunch. Kids made kissing sound whenever I walked by. One day, I walked into class and Tracy shouted, "Here comes Lucy, the mirror kisser. Everyone, hide your mirrors," causing everyone to burst into laughter. Just then, I received an anonymous text from someone who claimed to be my secret admirer. They said they liked me a lot and that I shouldn't let the kids at school get to me. At first, I didn't text back, but the person kept texting me every day, sending funny videos and memes that made me laugh. I gave in and started to text back with some funny stuff I saw on the internet. Whoever they were, they made my life at school so much easier. I asked if they'd reveal who they were, and they texted back saying soon. How mysterious. Who do you think it is? One day after PE, I went to the locker room to shower and change, but just when I was washing my face, someone pushed me and I slipped on the slippery floor, landing on my butt. I tried to see who it was, but I was blinded by the camera flashes in my eyes. Other girls were taking photos of me and laughing. I screamed my lungs out trying to cover myself. Soon, the flashes stopped and I was left all alone. I picked myself up while crying, put on my clothes, and ran out of the locker room. The next day, I found the word "freak" spray-painted on my locker door. I went to open my locker, but it burst open and I was sprayed with a thick green fluid. Everyone was now gathered around me, laughing and throwing flyers at me. What was going on? I picked one of the flyers and noticed a picture of me butt naked in the girls' shower. I had had enough, and I was very furious now. I screamed as the gooey stuff got into my eyes and mouth. I took one of the flyers and wiped my face with it. Who is responsible for this? Show yourself, you coward! I am sick of these stupid pranks. I stomped my feet and screamed. Tracy stepped forward, laughing. Of course, Mel stood close by her. It was me. What are you going to do about it, prison baby? What did you just call me? Freak? Prison baby? Prison baby? I was very confused. And then Tracy threw photos of a woman in an orange prison jumpsuit at me. I noticed the woman in the photos looked a lot like Mel and me. Yeah, you are the daughter of a convict, and you were born in prison. No wonder you're a thief who wants to steal Josh away from me. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? Stop lying, I don't know this woman. I was angry and ready to attack her, but Mel stepped forward and held me back. Please, stop, Lucy. She looked embarrassed and her head hung in shame. Everything Tracy said is true. What are you talking about? Everyone in the hallway had gone silent watching the drama unfold. The woman in the photo is our mom and she's in prison. Dad has been lying to us. I heard a few gasps. How do you know? Mel explained that she noticed that Dad took secret trips every week, so a few weeks ago, she followed him and was shocked to see him enter a women's correctional facility. Once inside, she saw him sit with a woman. She took photos and confronted him as he was leaving. He was shocked to see her, and he told her that the woman was his wife and our mom. I don't believe you. Look at the photo. She's been in prison for years. Mel was in tears this whole time as she narrated our story, and I just stood there, too stunned to move or talk, just like the rest of the kids who were listening. Well, except for Tracy. She had an evil smile on her face. She was clearly enjoying this. Dad told me not to say anything to you, that he would find a way to tell you eventually. Then why did you tell the whole school? Did you just want to embarrass me? Is that it? I didn't tell anybody. I wrote it in my diary and Tracy stole it. She also found the photos I took on my phone and sent them to herself. Mel furiously wiped tears from her eyes. But you've been so mean to me. You're my sister, but you've made my life so difficult. I didn't mean it, Lucy. Tracy made me do it. She said I had to be mean to you or else she'd show everyone my diary. She's hiding it and has refused to give it back. I was speechless. I'm so sorry. Mel knelt and cried uncontrollably. I wanted to comfort her and forgive her, but it was all too much for me. So I turned to run out of there, but I slipped on the gooey liquid still coming out of my locker. I tripped, but before I could fall, someone grabbed me and steadied me. I looked at my savior and I couldn't believe who it was. It was Josh. I pushed him off me, but he begged me to listen to what he had to say.
I need to tell you something.
What do you have to say to me? That your girlfriend is an evil witch?
She's not my girlfriend anymore. I broke up with her. Also, I told her I liked you.
Everyone turned to look at Tracy. We all expected her to say that Josh was lying, but she stayed silent. So this is why she hates me?
Yes. I'm sorry I didn't stand up to her that day in the cafeteria.
I was about to walk away when he told me something even more shocking. He revealed himself as the anonymous texter and my secret admirer. What? You? My secret admirer? He nodded and smiled. Although I was excited, I was still paranoid. Josh, please stop playing games. I can't deal with this cruelty right now. Josh grabbed my wrist, spun me around to face him, and you'll never guess what he did next. He pulled me close to him like they do in romantic movies. He didn't even care that his clothes were getting stained by that disgusting gooey liquid. And before I could pull away, he kissed me. For a minute, everything stopped, and it felt like it was just the two of us. But the moment was interrupted by Tracy screaming like a banshee, bringing me back to my senses. She grabbed me and pulled me away from my Josh. She started pulling my hair and we got into an ugly fight. Mel came to my rescue and together we wrestled Tracy to the gooey liquid-covered floor. It was gross. Excited kids cheered wildly, and the commotion attracted a couple of teachers who broke up the fight and ordered everyone to go back to class. We were sentenced to detention, of course, but it was worth it. On our ride home, Dad confirmed that everything Mel told me was true. The next day, he took us to visit our mother. And even though she was practically a stranger, we were happy to see her, and so was she. A few days later, Josh officially asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. Let's just say I never kissed an imaginary Josh in the mirror again after that. Mel and I worked out our issues pretty fast. She was my sister after all. And we promised each other not to let Tracy or anyone else get between us ever again. Hi, my name is Beatrice, and I'm from a little town in Michigan. Ever since we were little, my sister Angela and I competed in everything. Grades, boys, mom's attention, everything. I always won. Angela didn't even come close. But one day, she did. Pencils and ripped papers flew in the air and scattered everywhere. I held scissors in one hand and a blowtorch in the other. Angela cowered in a corner of the room, terrified and helpless. You call this art? I kicked one of the drawing books like it was a football. I'm gonna burn it all today. Beatrice, don't. Or what? Mom bought me those. Doesn't mean you deserve them. The blowtorch slipped from my hands and fell to the floor. Angela and I fought for it, but she didn't match my strength. Jealousy and rage were fueling me. I held the blowtorch ready to light it and grabbed her tattered drawing book. She took another step forward, and before she could take another one, I set her book on fire and pointed the blowtorch at her. Don't come any closer, Angela. She stood back, horrified. I never meant to scare her, but I was too enraged to care or let her save the book. You must be wondering what's going on here. Do you want to find out? Then please subscribe and keep watching. Angela was not book smart, but she was a great artist. I hated that I couldn't draw as well as her. Mom praised her and showed off her drawings to all her friends. One day, we came home from school to find an expensive set of pencils and a new drawing book on the kitchen table. The moment Angela saw them, her eyes lit up. There was a note from Mom congratulating her for winning the latest school art competition. And that's how I found myself with a pair of scissors and a blowtorch in my hands. She was inconsolable, and tears mixed with mascara rolled down her face. I was grounded, of course, but that didn't stop me from sneaking out whenever I wanted. I was hurrying down the school hallway when someone rounded a corner and walked right into me. My bag slipped from my shoulder and fell to the floor, spilling books and pens everywhere.
Watch where you're going.
Why don't you watch where you're going? You clearly bumped into me, I was about to say something really mean, but my anger evaporated when I saw that it was Cliff, my longtime crush. Oh. Hey, I'm Beatrice. He bent to collect my bags and the books that had fallen out. That's when I saw it. One of Angela's ugly drawing books with her ugly drawings on display. How did it even get in my bag? Cliff was staring at it. Oh no. Did he think that I drew that? He picked up the book and flipped through a few pages.
Did you draw all these?
Of course not.
These are incredible. You're so talented. Can we maybe hang out after school so I can see all of them?
Wait, what? He liked them? Okay, I needed to make a choice. Fast. I could A, tell Cliff the truth that the drawing book was not mine, or B, lie to him and get to hang out with him. What would you choose if you were me? A or B?
Earth to Beatrice, hello.
Oh, sorry, did you say something?
Can we hang out later?
Sure. Did he even have to ask? I spent the rest of the day smiling and daydreaming about Cliff. Every time we passed each other in the hallways, he smiled and winked at me. Also, did you notice that I never told him that the drawings were mine? I just let him think they were. So I didn't exactly lie, right? Cliff lived in a freaking palace. The first time he invited me over, my jaw dropped. Wow, are you like rich? I blurted out without thinking and Cliff laughed.
Nah, this is my grandpa's house. He's the rich one. I've lived with him since my parents died.
Aww, Cliff was telling me his life story and this made me feel so close to him.
Did you bring the book?
I was confused for a minute and then I remembered Angela's stupid book. Ugh. I took it out of my bag and handed it to him. For the next hour or so, Cliff admired the drawings in the book instead of focusing on me. Like, hello? Did he not know that he was sitting in the presence of the prettiest girl in school? Ugh, boys could be so annoying. He finally looked up from the book, smiling. We were on the couch, so I slid closer to him.
How about you draw me?
What? I stood up too fast, tripped on a coffee table, and went sprawling on the carpet. Talk about embarrassing.
You're quite clumsy.
Cliff was laughing as he helped me sit up.
So, how about I pose for you right here?
I was so busted. I couldn't even draw a straight line, you guys.
Come on, B, please.
He made the most adorable face and called me B. No one ever called me that before. However, my mind was racing and I had to come up with an excuse. I don't have my pencils right now.
I have some.
I only use mine.
We can go get them.
I left them at school and, it's closed at this time.
We can go buy some.
I don't have any money on me.
I do.
Ah, well, I was out of excuses. Just then, his phone rang and I was so relieved. It was his grandpa calling. He needed Cliff to run an errand. Phew, that was close. It wasn't until I got home that I realized that I'd left Angela's book with Cliff. Looking back, I realized that this was the beginning of my downfall. The next day at school, Cliff snuck up on me and covered my eyes with his hand.
Guess what I'm holding?
I didn't get the chance to answer him because Angela interrupted us. Where did you get that? Cliff uncovered my eyes and what I saw filled me with fear.
B left this at my house yesterday. I'm just returning it to her.
I've been looking everywhere for that book. She snatched it from Cliff, but before she could say anything else, the bell rang. Cliff walked away and so did Angela, but not before she gave me the death stare. I knew I was in trouble. After school, I went home dreading what Angela was going to do. What if she told Cliff that the book was hers and not mine? He'd never speak to me again. I pushed our front door open and I couldn't believe what I saw. Angela was taking cash from Mom's wallet. Are you stealing from Mom? I'm so going to tell. You have no proof. Oh yeah? I quickly took a photo of her with the wallet in her hands. Say cheese. She tried to snatch my phone, but I jumped out of the way. I own you now. What do you want? I thought about it for a minute and came up with the perfect idea. I want you to draw a portrait of Cliff and give it to me. Also, you're not gonna tell him that the ugly book belongs to you. Why? No questions, just do it. Geez, okay, but you say a single word to Mom about this, and the deal is off. I sent Angela a selfie of Cliff, and a few days later, she was done. I had to admit, she'd done a great job. At school, I gave Cliff the portrait, and he was so impressed that he kissed me for the first time. My friends practically worshipped me after that. They wanted to know how it felt kissing the hottest boy in school. I loved their attention and their obvious jealousy. A week later, Cliff walked into class excited.
B, I have great news. Grandpa Zeus saw the portrait you did for me and loved it so much. He wants to pose for you so you can do a full one of him. He's offering you a lot of money.
Pose for me?
Yeah, at the mansion. Once you're done, he'll throw a big party to unveil it and show it off.
The pressure was becoming too much. Can I think about it? Cliff's excitement disappeared instantly.
What's there to think about?
I don't know,
You have to do it, B. Grandpa is all I have left, and the portrait would make him so happy. Not to mention, you'll be rich.
I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up and ran out of class, leaving a confused Cliff behind. That evening, I told my family everything, including the part about blackmailing Angela for stealing. Angela was furious. You stole my drawing book and used it to get yourself a boyfriend? What does it matter? I'm gonna lose, Cliff.
Stop talking, both of you. We will not lose this opportunity. Angela, you'll draw the old man. It's the least you could do after you stole my money. And Beatrice, I will deal with you later. Now here's the plan.
Mom's plan was genius. I would agree to do the portrait, and when Cliff's grandpa took his pose, I'd take a photo and send it to Angela. She'd be at home with all her tools, ready to draw an exact image of the photo. I, on the other hand, would pretend to draw the old man. On the day of the party, Mom would sneak the portrait into the mansion disguised as a cleaning lady, and we'd swap it with my blank one. Perfect, right? What could go wrong? Apparently, everything. A few days later, Angela was done. On the morning of the unveiling party, Mom snuck in and handed me the portrait. Angela had wrapped it in paper, just like Mr. Zeus had requested me to do. We swapped them easily and she left with the blank one. I carried the wrapped portrait to the huge living room where Mr. Zeus and his friends were waiting. Cliff and a few of my classmates were there too. I was surprised to see Angela present too. Why was she here?
Everyone, this is Beatrice, the talented young lady I've been telling you about.
Angela rolled her eyes. Seriously, why was she here? When he had everyone's attention, Mr. Zeus ripped the wrapping paper from the framed portrait, and everyone gasped. The room went deathly silent. Then, Mr. Zeus exploded.
Is this some kind of joke?
I stared at the portrait in horror. Mr. Zeus looked like a caricature with red horns growing out of his head. Angela! She gave me an evil smile. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame, sis. Cameras flashed everywhere. Sometimes I really hate smartphones.
Get out of my house and take that horrible thing with you.
I turned to Cliff, but he looked just as angry as his grandfather. I'm so sorry. I had lost an opportunity to be rich and my boyfriend, all in one day. Someone drew giant horns on my locker. Cliff was ignoring me. I had no idea if he knew the entire truth. During lunch, I noticed Angela staring at Cliff, then drawing in her sketchbook. Instantly, I knew what she was doing. She was drawing him. Cliff got up with his tray and started to leave, but Angela ran to him, waving the paper in his face. She was going to show him the drawing and put the last nail in my coffin. Not on my watch. I bolted from my seat and managed to grab the paper before she could give it to Cliff. I tore it in half and threw it in the trash can.
What are you doing?
Without answering, I grabbed Cliff's hand to pull him out of there before he saw the sketch Angela had made of him.
Let go of my hand, Beatrice.
I dropped his hand and he reached for the ripped paper in the trash can. I watched as he put the two pieces together and realized what it was. He looked from me to Angela, waiting for an explanation. Should I tell him or will you, Bea? Angela looked so pleased with herself. Defeated, I fell to the ground and cried, revealing everything to Cliff. I begged him to forgive me, but he walked away angry. A few weeks later, Angela received a similar proposal as before, to draw a portrait of grandfather Zeus and to be paid a hefty amount for it. Only this time, Cliff, who'd broken up with me, would be watching the process from beginning to end. Angela smiled and agreed to draw 2 different portraits for him. One to make up for the previous one, and the second which she would be paid for. I had no choice but to be supportive of my sister's good fortune, painful as it was. The entire audience was laughing as my leotard ripped apart from the back. I'd forgotten to check the size when I was putting it on in the changing room, and apparently this one was too tight. I ran off the stage and went to the changing room. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this just happened. I was on the verge of tears.
It's okay, Alicia. These things happen to all aspiring actresses once in a while. At the end of our play, no one will remember this little incident. Don't you worry.
Miss William, you don't know teenagers nowadays. Someone probably took a video and it's definitely trending right now.
There, why don't you ask your parents to take you home so you can take a break?
I wasn't even sure whether they were in the audience. I took out my phone and called my mom.
Hi, dear.
Did you see what just happened?
What are you talking about?
You didn't come to my play?
What play?
The one I've been telling you about for months. I had a leading role, remember? You and Dad aren't here?
Sorry, we're with Daisy at an important photo shoot.
I was so angry that I hung up. My parents treated my 5-year-old sister like a princess and completely ignored me since the day she was born. I was totally sick of it. I was going to get back at them, all while totally ruining my little sister. Keep watching to see how.
Alicia, I'm so sorry that your parents aren't here, but there are many people who support you, including me. You're one of my best students.
I know you're just saying that to make me feel better. I don't even know why I was born. I became so emotional that I just ran straight out of the theater with tears in my eyes. I ran across the road thinking how perfect my life was until that brat Daisy was born. And I didn't see it coming until it hit me. I went flying into the air and then I totally blacked out. Woke up in a hospital bed surrounded by serious-looking doctors and nurses.
She's awake.
Hi, dear. Your right leg is broken, but you'll be okay. Why didn't you look before crossing the street?
I was hit by a car?
Yes, darling. We need to call your parents.
Here, take my phone. Their numbers are saved in there. I thought that maybe now my parents would probably give me some attention, but they showed up in a few minutes looking annoyed.
What sort of trouble have you gotten yourself into now? You interrupted a very important photo shoot.
Mom! I just broke my leg because I was so sad that none of you came to support me. You don't care about me anymore. Just that stupid 5-year-old child. What about me and what I want? You two honestly suck. You're the worst parents ever. I could tell they felt embarrassed while the doctors and nurses looked on curiously.
Okay, dear, calm down. We're very sorry. How can we make it up to you?
Let me quit high school and enroll me in an acting school right now.
But what about SATs?
Do you want to make it up to me or not? She talked it over with my dad and they agreed, but I didn't feel like I had won the battle just yet. I needed to make a plan so that they could see me as the perfect daughter and not Daisy. A few weeks passed and my leg healed. I went up to Daisy's room one night after dinner. Daisy, I have to have a little talk with you.
What is it, big sister?
You know that Santa and the Tooth Fairy are real, right?
Yes, I will lose my first tooth soon and she's going to bring me lots of money. And I love Santa.
Well, you know I'm big, strong, and dangerous, right?
Yeah?
I kidnapped Santa and the Tooth Fairy and I'm hiding them in a secret dungeon. If you don't do everything I tell you to do from now on, I'm going to kill them. She immediately burst into tears and she was crying so loudly that my mom began calling from downstairs. I told her we were just playing a game and then tried to get Daisy to shut up. Stop crying or I'll kill them right now.
What do you want me to do?
Well, first of all, you can't tell anyone what's going on. I want you to stop being nice. When Mom and Dad talk to you, just roll your eyes and don't reply.
But that's naughty.
I know, but you want Santa to live. Anyway, next you're going to stop wearing all those cute little girly dresses. You're going to dress like a boy now, and you're going to wear a cap and big gold chain. Like a rapper. That part will be fun. I got you some clothes, but don't tell Mom and Dad where you got them. You also have to start swearing. I'm gonna teach you a few words. I made her repeat curse after curse until she could pronounce them properly. When I was satisfied with my work, I gave her a lollipop and a hug. Maybe you'll be able to save Santa after all. The next day, I pretended to have a fever so I could observe how Daisy interacted with my parents. She did just as I asked. Gosh, little kids are so stupid. My mom wanted to know where she got her hideous outfit from, but she rolled her eyes and refused to answer. Then my dad asked her why she wasn't being nice, and she let out a nice big swear word. They were shocked, and I'd never been happier.
I always knew there was something wrong with that kid, and I think I know why.
Don't talk like that. Maybe it's just a phase.
Well, aren't you going to deal with it?
You're on time out, Daisy. She swore again, and I laughed so much I couldn't breathe. What did my dad mean, though? Throughout that week, I'd ask Daisy to do random, awful things and to make it seem like she did them on purpose. First, she poured grape juice all over Mom's favorite white carpet. When my mom asked her why, she swore at her. You're on timeout again, Miss Lady. I don't know what's gotten into you lately.
Whatever, woman. What do you think a timeout is gonna do?
She replied and walked back to her room. Get back here. I'm confiscating all of your toys, and if you don't watch it, I'm going to give them away to charity.
Shut up.
The next day, she ripped up some of the curtains in the house, and the day after that, she just broke random things. By Friday, my parents were considering taking her to a psychologist. But my plan was beginning to work because for the first time in a long time, they began to treat me like I existed. They'd ask me questions about how things were going at my new school, and when I asked them to hook me up with some of their director friends so I could start getting some acting roles, they told me they'd get back to me soon. In about a month, I had a minor role in a movie. I was just the lead character's classmate, but I knew that greater things were to come. But I had to continue threatening Daisy because if she snapped back to her usual self, it'd be all over for me. Hey Daisy, Christmas is coming, so I'm gonna let Santa out for a little while, okay? I think you've been good, so you deserve your presents this year. Yay! The next morning, there were presents addressed to her from Santa. Daisy was so excited that day that I almost started to feel bad about what I was doing to her. But then I thought that she probably didn't feel bad when my parents missed my plays, so I continued my plan. That night, after my parents were sleeping, I hid all her presents in the basement. Then I woke her up and told her to come downstairs with me.
Where are my presents, Alicia?
They were gone, but I saw this note from Santa. Here, I'll read it to you. Dear Daisy, I am only giving presents to bad children this year. If you throw garbage all over your house and make a big mess before tomorrow morning, I'll return your presents. Love, Santa. I told her she'd better hurry up and get back to work. Then I went back to my room, but not before turning the security cameras back on. The next morning, I woke up to a loud scream. What happened to our house? Did someone break in? I ran downstairs to find my mom standing in the middle of a pile of junk. Wow, Mom, you should check the security camera footage. If it's a bad guy, maybe the police can find him. My mom and I went to the home office to view the footage. But just before Daisy's incident, we saw my dad enter the house. But he wasn't alone. We gasped. He had his arm around the waist of a really hot young woman. She was wearing a really tight dress which showed off her curves perfectly. The footage showed them entering the guest bedroom and leaving after about an hour. Wow. My husband. Don't freak out, Mom. Maybe it was just a business meeting. Business my foot. Harold, get down here. My dad came running down and I wasn't ready to deal with all the drama, so I left the room. They argued for a long time. Did I just ruin my parents' marriage? In the living room, Daisy was sitting in the middle of all the junk, crying. Where are my presents? Santa's dead, Daisy. She screamed and both my parents came running in. What's wrong, baby? She killed Santa. What? But my dad wasn't done arguing.
You have got some nerve getting upset with me for one night of fun when you know very well that Daisy is nothing like me. She's become so rude, annoying, and destructive. Those aren't my genes. She got that from her real father.
Harold, now is not the time.
Yes, it is. I am tired of these double standards. It's about time the girls knew the truth.
Huh, Dad?
Your mom had an affair a few years ago. Daisy isn't my kid.
Yes, she is, Harold.
I took a paternity test. She isn't. Look, this obviously isn't working out. I think we should get a divorce. I'll keep my kid, and you can keep yours.
3 months later, my life had changed drastically. I moved away with my dad and his new girlfriend, Lexi. She was so stupid and annoying, but at least I was the center of attention now. Because my dad felt so guilty about everything that happened, he started to shower me with gifts and I got everything I asked for. Daisy, on the other hand, was having a really hard time with my mom. She was so angry about everything that she never snapped back to her usual self. So while trying to get all the attention, I ended up ruining my parents' marriage and destroying my sister's life. Was it worth it though? I think so.